You're listening to littlepodcast.com.
I have to cleanse myself with alcohol.
You have to put like a sticker directly on your nipple.
A brownie blast blizzard is something that can happen to your wet pussy if you're not careful.
No,
John is the actual author of My Immortal.
Yes.
A balloon just popped out of nowhere. Fucking hey.
Welcome to Born in the
80s.
Episode 410. I'm your host, as always, John Danger, joined by my co-hosts.
Anime Matt.
TJ No Filter May.
Hashtag no filter.
Hashtag no filter Spanky.
But I don't know if that's true.
No, these are my real aviators, and Joe Biden is actually tattooed on my forehead. Text Joe to 30330.
Yeah. It's one of those holographic tattoos that kind of moves around. A little bit.
I had to animate myself as well because it's the best new filter on Snapchat.
It is.
It is, and now I can't use it.
To animate ourselves on Twitch. That's against the terms of service.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, you can't animate yourself.
Okay.
I'll try and mess with it while we're going, but
Let's see what's under the cute category.
Right.
Let's see if I can be cute.
So we missed last week.
We started the podcast and immediately started fucking with Snapchat filters. Great start, everyone.
I'm talking about important stuff. So we missed a week last week. What the fuck happened?
I was in a safe location, secluded for my own and everybody else's safety, with a certain series of high security codes that I'm not allowed to talk about.
If I remember correctly, I believe on Friday afternoon of last week, everyone was just on Twitter saying just fuck, shit, god damn it, fuck. And we were posting in our Discord like, oh, fucking god damn it, no. Yeah. And then Matt's just like, what?
Yeah, I was like, I'm in a cabin and I don't really have cell reception. Did something happen?
I was like, man, I wish I could be you for like this weekend.
The first thing I thought was like Joe Biden had a heart attack or something. I was like, oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah, no, it's worse than that. So anyway, at least the Ruth Bader Ginsburg memes and the terrible, awful SNL sketches that Kate McKinnon did as her will be over. Because
the memes are just starting. Like,
not that I like this. I mean, obviously she was an incredible justice, and
but it's also like,
but it's just like,
you posted some shit in our Discord where people were like doing Wakanda and RGB mashups. It's like, fuck, one of these is pop culture, the other is a fucking Supreme Court justice. Stop pop culturizing.
Wakanda forever.
Yeah, God. Ruth Conda forever. Oh my god.
No wonder we have a reality TV president.
That specific example was by like a child, a 6-year-old child, but the adult
endorsed it and posted it on Twitter.
Well, the kid never said that.
No.
There's no way a child said Ruth Conda forever.
Anything that like Twitter personalities kid said or did not happen.
Definitely. Yeah, so anyway, so that's why we missed a week, because Matt couldn't do it, and we had a couple episodes left.
We missed it in morning. We were noble. It was a noble thing we did.
Yeah.
We missed it because Spanky's house is being invaded.
Oh yeah, Spanky had a home invasion.
It's true. My mother came because she had sex with my father, and then 9 months later I was born.
Wait. How?
27 years after that, she came to my house.
Wait, your mother came?
Yeah, she did. And she was doing hair at a wedding for a person who I went to high school with.
Got it.
And I didn't want to go to this wedding because it's the fucking COVID. So, I didn't want to die.
Most people don't have weddings. I didn't want to die either, but I also went to a place where I could have been today.
On Friday. No. Let me think. I think it was Friday night. So the wedding was on Saturday, and this was on Friday night. The night that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. my mom was like, "Hey, look at this video of my cats that my boyfriend, who's at my house right now, is sent. That's very cute." Yeah. And the video of the cats was cute, but like all I could pay attention to was Fox News blaring in the background. That something like so happy that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is going to be replaced by something. I immediately had a panic attack. I told my mom that if her boyfriend ever came to my house, I'd run him over and kill him because he's not fucking worth anything. Yeah. And that upset her pretty bad.
Why?
And I was like, I don't know. But I was like, fuck, that was a pretty shitty thing for me to have said. So I apologize. I didn't apologize for saying that. I apologized for yelling at her because I wasn't mentally ready to apologize for saying that. And then I was like, fuck. But to make it up to her, I probably have to go to this wedding because she's here until Sunday. And I don't want to just like ignore her in my house for 2 days after I did that. It's kind of shitty. Yeah. So you
were the good son.
I tried to be, yeah. So I went to that wedding. It was an okay wedding. I don't like weddings, and I never have. There was free beer though, so I drank about 11 Bud Lights while I was there. So almost got to my 14 beers at Chili's Choose Your Own Adventure out of that. Nobody wore a mask. There was, and like, my mom is very like not smart about like pandemics or like keeping up to date on news or whatever. But there was probably about 150 people there.
Wow. Was like, everyone was wearing masks, right?
And no one was wearing masks. And she was like, there's not that many people here. It's probably making you comfortable. I'm like, Mother, are you fucking kidding me? I was hoping. To me, a small wedding is like 12 people.
You're just like hiding in a corner, like, I have to cleanse myself with alcohol. That's the only way to keep the COVID at bay.
I did not get very close to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But like, Mom's like, come on, let's do the dance floor, because the DJ was trying to like get everyone on the dance floor, and I'm like, no, because people are gonna be fucking singing and shit on the dance floor, and that's like, and singing is like.
Headphones back on, because I can hear it through your lav mic.
Oh yeah,
sorry,
that's okay.
I dropped my headphones. My apologies.
He dropped his headphones so he could look at his anime self in his headset. That's okay.
So
the anime Matt is like spot on though.
Yeah, anime Matt is really good.
This does not look like me in any way. Although I do like that the anime filter makes me look super intense. Apparently,
damn anime TJ, you're looking good.
That's just funny. Anyway, so you went to a COVID super spreading event.
I went to a COVID super spreader event because I screamed at my mom that I hope her boyfriend dies for watching.
When are we going to start seeing national headlines about this wedding? Like 5 days?
To be honest with you, I don't know that the venue that we went to, because they rented a venue, I don't know that they aren't doing one of those every single day.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
So, like, I'm not sure that wedding will be any specific, like, of noteworthy. It's like, Springfield, Missouri is not taking shit seriously. I went to the grocery store the other day, like, a month and a half into our mask order mandate. Like, it is a mandate from the city a month and a half later. And there's, like, 5 rednecks in there wearing their wraparounds and their sleeveless cutoffs and their fucking trucker hats, not wearing masks. And I'm just like,
thanks.
Fuck you.
Well, it's just people don't have any sort of basic, like, decency.
I mean, like, in Missouri, here's the thing that sucks about living in Missouri. If that situation had happened to me and I was in Madison or, anywhere really that's not like fucking Mobile, Alabama. Actually, Mobile is probably the nicest place in Alabama, even though it still sucks. But like, you know what I mean? Like Huntington, West Virginia, even like shit like that. I would go to the manager of the store and be like, hey, there's someone back there not like doing the mask mandate, and like there's people in here who probably have compromised immune systems, and that's pretty fucked up. In Missouri, I can't do that. Because if I go to the
do you even have a mandate?
Yeah, we do, but like no one follows it because it's a hoax made up by George Soros.
Yeah. Did you say? Oh man, I saw some. That just someone in the chat posted like people. I know people that had their weddings planned this year, and they just got married, and they just are like, we'll have a party next summer. And that seems to be the smart way of doing it. Like, just be like, we had this. We'll just do the license, but then we'll have the actual ceremony and stuff next summer. Which hopefully, if the vaccines continue on their current timelines, it looks like hopefully by the spring we should have the ability to get vaccinated for this. So, anyway, yeah.
I don't like thinking about the whole vaccine is out, so I can go out. Kind of attitude, because there's a lot of people who will have that attitude and not get the vaccine.
Also, my
mother is one of them.
I'll post this video to the Discord, but the logistics of getting this vaccine out are going to be insane. Like, I guess because part of not being able to test a ton of stuff is they don't know exactly what temperatures it's safe to ship at, so they have to go for like maximum coldness, which means they have to like build an infrastructure to do that.
Yeah, we used to, when I worked in the pharmaceutical lab, that's what they did. They have like ultra cold storage, which is like -80°C. So you need like a super like crazy cryo shipping containers and stuff to like do that, and because it's got to have like liquid nitrogen in it and everything. So yeah, that's kind of how it works. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome, guys. Looking forward to injecting the ice into my veins.
I did get my flu shot though, so I fully the government mind control is kicking in. Yeah. And you know what? I think Joe Biden is too liberal. So
I saw him
and his liberal allies are going to ruin everything.
Yeah, I saw a statistic that was like, because of people quarantining for the coronavirus and practicing like really generally stringent hygienic practices, wiping things down, sanitizing everything extra, that we didn't really have a very noticeable flu season this year.
Yeah.
Because the flu is a virus in the same way the coronavirus is a virus that they spread between people. Like viruses, unlike bacteria, can't live on food or like surfaces. They have to transmit between people.
Well, they can survive on, but that's not how they
live.
Right,
yes, they can exist on, but they cannot like you can't culture a virus on food.
Exactly. They need living cells to invade.
So I've been thinking about that. Like,
that was neat to think about.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that. Like anthropomorphizing the virus. Like some just random mild cold virus. It's like, dude, come on. I had a good thing going here, and then COVID. You came in here, and now they're all social distancing. And you know what? I'm dying too. Fuck you.
Yeah.
All I did was give them the sniffles and reproduce. Come on.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting, just everything going on. Yeah, and it's like really weird too, because people are really hesitant to go in to the doctor's offices now. So like they're talking about like how ER and like urgent care and all these admissions are just slower now because people just aren't going in for stuff that they don't think is serious.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like ruining hospitals or like losing money now because
that's also going to have a trailing death toll, because if you don't go in as often and you don't catch something as early, and like
the cancer is going to be higher because of this, because the person who would come in because they're like, that's a little weird feeling, I should go to the doctor, is kind of like, I can wait. Which is bad. But
I bet it also had, probably this is way less consequential, but there's probably people who like would waste emergency room resources for like bashing their toe into a wall or something, or it's like
yeah.
I mean,
like I do. Or when I chop part of my finger off.
I remember that.
That was fun.
But I mean, like, there are certain things that you will survive.
I
agree.
You
may, like, those people might not be wasting, emergency room resources.
Correct. Yeah.
Now, that obviously is much less consequential than like someone having cancer and not getting checked out. But
But also, also much less consequential than the biggest consequence, which is post-Halloween candy sales are gonna be insane this year.
Oh, you ruined my segue.
Oh, really?
Because I was going to say the urgent care that I was at this morning was pretty busy.
Nobody cares about that.
John texts us at like 7:30 in the morning. Like, I coughed up blood. It's like, okay, that's fucking scary.
It was pretty nasty.
But also, like Matt went the direction with his response that I kind of wanted to go, but didn't know if it was like too what's the word? Flippant, I think.
Yeah.
Because like every time I see coughing up blood, it's like in a show or an opera or something where it's like they've got the handkerchief like, and then like only the camera and the audience sees the blood in it.
Yeah,
and he quickly hides it from the rest of the
that's
show.
100% it. Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind is the protagonist in a or like the friend of a protagonist in like an old timey period drama. Like
the Doc Holliday role.
That character's dying.
I had the benefit of responding super late, so I knew everything was pretty fine.
After I said that everything looked fine. So yeah, I went to so I'll just describe the exact instances as they happened, but like I woke up because the dog came in and started whining, and I was like, all right, we should probably get up, go over and pick up the neighbor dog. We're dog sitting. And so I get up, I go take a piss, I sit back down, lay back in bed, and all of a sudden it feels like I've, you know, when you like, drink water and it goes down the wrong pipe?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. I was like, oh man. And I coughed. And I started coughing and it like burned really hard, like right in my sternum, like when I'm coughing, like a really hard, you know, like when you have like a really hard cough, you know, down there. I don't know if you ever had like a
big old, super hard, just hard.
Yeah, just like burns,
really
hard,
hot cough,
rock hard,
way
cough.
Deep down in your esophagus.
Anyway,
hard cough.
So
it doesn't get you high if you don't cough.
So I coughed and I was just like, man, this is like my mouth tastes like blood. And so then I like cough and then go into the bathroom and in the sink and just spit out, and it's just like blood, like just a big old like glob of blood and like I guess mucus, but it was like all blood. And I was like, huh, okay. And then I like clear my throat a couple times and do that, and it's bloody, and I'm just like, all right, this is not good. I don't know what to do. And so like you like Google it, and it's just like, yeah, this isn't good.
Yeah.
So
I can't imagine that WebMD
cancer.
Well, it doesn't say that, but it's just like you probably should go see someone for that. And so I'm like, fucking A. I guess I got to go to urgent care, and it opens at 8. So I was just like, let's go. Well, my wife is like, I'm just gonna go walk the dogs, and then we'll go to urgent care, where she can't go, by the way. She had to wait in the car, which kind of sucks because when you're in there, it's nice to have a person with you, but understandably
they have pretty strict waiting room rules.
Pretty strict protocols. They had chairs marked off that you couldn't sit in. They had a separate waiting room for people that suspected they had COVID, which one person who came in after me did, so that's good. Especially with my apparently bleeding throat and lungs. But so like, I don't know, I just coughed up a bunch of blood and then went to the urgent care, and they did a chest x-ray, which is interesting because they're like, you got to gown up for the chest x-ray, you know, and they put you in like the fucking gown, and you walk down there, and they're like, just as a protocol, everyone that gets a chest x-ray has to wear these nipple stickers. And so I'm like, oh really? You have to put like a sticker directly on your nipple, and peeling those off was a bitch, I'll tell you that.
Were they like protective? Like, were they lead pasties?
They were like, no, it was like a little tiny thing and it had a metal bead on it. So I'm assuming it's like to calibrate like where it is, you know, like to calibrate the image.
No, this was just this motherfucker's kink. I swear to God.
Yeah. The lady that was like, fucking watch this guy's gonna put this shit on.
He fucking did it. He actually fucking did it. I can't believe it.
Yeah, they got me.
Those beads on them are just like magnets to put the tassels on for stripper beads.
Yeah, the beads are actually made out of uranium, and now you have cancer.
Yeah,
they got you.
So they did. That's how they get you. You know, they want you to keep coming back, so they got to get you more sick. That's how hospitals work.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Look,
did.
I've been reading some right-wing blogs, and I'm pretty sure you're right.
So anyway, they the hospital, yeah. So I did the X-ray and then just waited, and they did an EKG, which is I don't know if you've ever had an EKG when they put the lines all over your chest and measure your like heart, which is fun. Because then it's like basically like a mini wax job if you have like chest hair like I do. So, but it wasn't too bad. But yeah, they can be a pain to get off. So. That was fun. The lady was nice. Everything came back normal. So they're like, I don't know, maybe you just had like a really bad nosebleed over the night, and then all the blood just kind of sat in the back of your throat, and then when you stood up, you aspirated a bunch of it, and you started coughing really hard, which made like it worse because like blood really irritates, I guess, your lungs. It gets in there. So she was just like, I don't know, I can't see anything with the scope or in the X-ray, so you can go to the ER. Where they'll do like a real scan of you, because I guess X-rays suck. I guess.
Yeah, I think that would show like masses or anything.
Yeah. So it's not anything like that, but like, and I mean, it's not going to show like a cut or a tear, something that could be, like the most common instances in someone who's young, who doesn't like smoke. I mean, I did, but like barely. And then like it's just like it's probably I was like thinking, man, it could be a vocal cord nodule because I talk all the time, and maybe I just yell too much, or it could be, it could be anything. It could just be a little lesion in the back of my throat that opened up, it's inflamed. But
it was all of the lamentation wailing you did this week.
It is, yeah. It was the Ruth Bader Ginsburg screaming that I did when I screamed at Dawn when she died. No, I don't know. So I don't know. I think I'm fine. I feel pretty normal, other than the fact that I feel a little phlegmy and my chest burns a little bit. But that's probably from the coughing I did. And they said everything looked normal, so I don't know. I'll have probably more updates in the future episodes because I'm sure I already messaged my primary care clinic and I was like, hey, just so you know, this happened. And they said I should probably follow up with you. So I'm assuming you're going to want me to go to like an ENT, like an ear, nose, and throat doctor, or go schedule a CT scan of the chest. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they said it's probably something pretty benign though, because everything looked normal. I didn't lose any weight. I was like, I've like 5 pounds since the start of COVID, but nothing like I haven't lost like 20 pounds, which is usually a sign of cancer. You lose weight.
Man,
I gotta get.
I gotta get on that diet.
Yeah, that's it, man. You just got to get yourself that cancer, so the cancer cells are eating
or you can start doing heroin, which is my choice.
Or
that's my personal.
I literally already do meth. I don't know what else I need to do to lose weight.
I keep more meth.
You gotta do heroin too. It's a appetite suppressant.
It's a 1-2 punch of weight loss bliss.
Yeah.
Slim fast, fuck that.
Well, the nice thing about
and then you have to take that stuff that like collects all the fat, and then it just leaks out your butt.
Yeah.
That's called Lay's potato chips.
Yeah,
Olestra.
Olestra chips. No, the what's it? God damn it! You fucking derailed me with Olestra. You unlocked a part of my brain from the early 2000s when those existed. And everyone was like, ooh, zero fat. Remember that? It was like, oh,
Lay's
zero
Wow
fat.
chips.
Yeah.
Like,
remember when people thought zero fat was health?
Yeah.
Zero fat. But it's like, it's sugar.
A million carbs and calories. Like, tons of sugar.
I still see that with like hard candies and stuff will be like zero fat on the package. Like, yeah.
It's all fucking like cholesterol, carbs, sugar, etc. No fat.
Do you remember Snackwells?
Now asbestos free.
Just the name, but I don't remember what they were.
They were like the zero fat cookies and things. You know,
I do, yeah.
They're not zero
they
fat.
Stuck.
Fat. Oh yeah,
they stuck. Like they were like,
still exist though.
They were like, oh yeah, here's a chocolate cookie that's like chocolate. It's a soft cookie that's like covered in like it's a chocolate cake cookie thing, and you take a bite and it's like, this has no flavor. Like it has literally no flavor to it. It is brown, like it might be chocolate. There's not a single bit of flavor to it. I was about to say,
if you want like a real, if you're like want your chocolate fix and you want to eat like something, just get like a box of those like Ghirardelli or something, like dark chocolate like nibs, and just have one of those. Those are like 70 calories. It actually tastes like real good chocolate, and it's actually not bad for you because dark chocolate's pretty healthy actually, in small amounts. So that's my tip for the week.
Chocolate is not really bad for you. What's bad for you is all the sugar that goes into chocolate.
Correct. That's why you want the
dark chocolate has quite a bit less sugar typically.
Yes. Yeah. And so you get that cocoa fix.
Now that doesn't mean to like get dark chocolate brownie blast blizzard or anything.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you just said get dark chocolate brownie blast blizzard, and it'll.
So I really want
what's the difference between a brownie blast blizzard and a bussy, a wet bussy?
So a brownie blast blizzard is something that can happen to your wet bussy if you're not careful.
So
you gotta lay down a tarp.
Oh no! If guys don't say anything funny, as if I have to fucking give that advice on this podcast.
Fuck
you! You don't need to worry about
that. Ewan texted me the other day. Ewan had for the very first time.
Wait, Sonic Hamster. Sorry, go ahead.
Ewan had for the very first time a pumpkin pie blizzard from Dairy Queen. Did not like it.
Oh.
That's one of my favorite blizzards, so I'm just like you, and I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
Oh, dude. When I worked at Culver's, we had we did the pumpkin pie shakes, and it was literally just custard. I don't think there was even any milk in that one, and then a couple of scoops of pie filling in the blender.
Yeah,
it was perfect.
Dude, I've had those, and they actually had like a pumpkin pie cheesecake mixer, which is like a blizzard.
Oh, yeah. I have seen those cheesecake bites.
Whenever I worked at Dairy Queen, they had cheesecake pieces always, just because there's some like strawberry cheesecake blizzard that's just always on the menu. And I would make myself and you could probably request this on the menu, just do a pumpkin pie blizzard, add cheesecake. Just do that, and that's so much better than the regular pumpkin pie blizzard.
Yeah, and that's your hack the menu for this week.
Yeah.
So
that's
eat dark chocolate or kill yourself by eating a ridiculous blizzard.
Listen, blizzards to me are a once a month treat, but man, do I enjoy them.
Look, it's dairy, it's antioxidants. There's probably some
crave.
What is pumpkin? A vegetable? There's that.
It's got electrolytes. What plants crave?
Well, if we're going to talk about things that are 90% sugar, what John and I did last week, while you guys were, I don't know, whatever.
We did our soda tier lists.
We did a soda tier list while we were doing our Nuzlocke run. We posted those in the Discord. John, do you have the link to that so they can make their own?
I definitely did not read this bullshit that you guys put in the Discord.
Yeah, it's in the Maymay's Heart Gold channel.
Oh man, I don't know. Shit, I should have.
I mean, we shouldn't go through the whole thing, but just
I'll
Discord.
Go through like some of the highlights of the S tier and the F tier.
All right, so I'm looking at TJ right here, right now. S tier. I've got Coke, Cherry Coke.
Yep.
That I'll agree that Cherry Coke is way better than regular Coke, which you've listed as.
I have to disagree, but I have a personal bias.
A tier.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I would say that like Coke is good for cola. Cherry Coke is the better cola. I will say though, and I don't know if it's on this list. Wild Cherry Pepsi, in my opinion, is better than Cherry Coke, but.
Wild Cherry Pepsi is in my S tier too. So
hey, Spanky, S tier, Wild Cherry Pepsi, A tier, Cherry Coke. So I agree with you on that. Wild Cherry Pepsi.
Here's the thing about, and maybe John will agree with me here. Cherry Coke is better than Coke because cherry just adds like a little bit of like spiciness almost to it, in like kind of like a Dr. Pepper way. But Pepsi is noted like. It is the whole thing from the 90s. Like it's got more sugar in it, therefore it's sweeter. Therefore, like people prefer it in taste tests, but don't want to drink as much of it as Coke. So that's why that whole ad campaign didn't do so well for them. But when you're having a cherry drink, when I think of cherry in my drink, I want something sweet, like just like something sweet, cherry candy. And I feel like Pepsi accomplishes that better than Cherry Coke. Not that Cherry Coke is, bad. I still like it a lot. I feel like Pepsi is the winner for the cherry sodas.
I agree. Well, I think we argued on the stream that the wild cherry Pepsi has just got a more cherry flavor in it, so it's much more like sweet cherry with a little bit of soda or a little bit of like cola, whereas Coca-Cola is a little bit more cola forward, and so that's why I like it more. But I get it. Oh, I'm sorry. S tier and TJ's we're still going through. So the orange vanilla Coca-Cola.
Orange vanilla Coke. I love orange vanilla.
I love vanilla Coke. I haven't had the orange one.
Yeah, the orange vanilla ones reminds me of Push Pops.
Oh my god, Push Pops were the best.
It's
Stone's Push Pops.
No, it's more a dreamsicle because you have the creaminess of the vanilla too.
I wish I would have bought that because we went to the Quick Trip to pick up some just like bread and milk and shit.
Yeah,
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pick up a soda and get a soda from the tier list that I like hadn't tried. And I saw the cherry vanilla Coke, and I was like, I don't know. And so I ended up going with cherry 7-Up, which I feel like I had before, but TJ had reassured me that it was good.
Yes.
So I put it on my rank as A rank, and I will agree that it is an A rank.
I see that you have what appears to be, and I can't click it to confirm, but it looks like your standard vanilla Coke as C tier, which makes me think you really love orange flavor. But then you have Crush as the F tier. Explain yourself, TJ.
Okay, so
Peach Crush.
No, yeah, as Peach Crush in the F tier.
Oh yeah, fuck peach flavored shit. That's garbage.
Okay.
No.
Sorry, Georgia.
Peach Knee High is one of the best sodas out there, y'all.
But no, vanilla Coke is in the C tier, because when vanilla Coke first came out, it had a horrible, really bad mouthfeel for a finish. Like it was
really?
It was very pungent. Almost like, okay, I drank it. It had a nice smooth vanilla, but then my mouth feels like I just let a spoonful of vanilla extract sit on my tongue for an hour.
It was kind of like
they hadn't
weirdly
refined
sticky.
the formula yet.
Yeah.
I've heard that the original formula of vanilla Coke was better outside of the U.S. where they use sugar instead of corn syrup, because like the corn syrup in the original vanilla Coke recipe made your mouth feel very like filmy afterwards.
I'm joined by my favorite boy,
John with the puppy
Banjo.
cam.
Did you get animated?
No, he did not get animated.
My kids' fake cat gets slightly animated from certain angles.
Nice.
They're both. Here's the terror.
So I know I'm looking at TJ's list when Baja Blast is on the S tier.
Oh, of course.
I also put
Because
it on here.
man, Baja Blast is easy. Like honestly, if I were making a tier list, none of the Mountain Dews would be on S tier except for Baja Blast.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure if any of them would make it on A tier for me. They'd be in the B tiers. I still like Mountain Dew.
Send a link to do your own tier list, so feel free.
Well, that sounds like a pain in the ass. So I don't know if I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
This won't. Curious
this
that
bit won't
Mellow
be worth
Yellow,
talking about
like,
next week. So why do it? You know.
When it comes to like the Mountain Dew and Mountain Dew likes, I actually I prefer Mellow Yellow to plain Mountain Dew. Personally.
It depends on my mood, if I want the smooth or not.
Yeah.
But
are you feeling mellow or are you feeling gamery?
TJ, we
Fresca
forgot to do
on this
Thunder.
anywhere?
Yeah, Fresca is on this. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me find Fresca. For TJ, Fresca is listed at. Oh man, I don't remember. Oh, it's at a B tier, okay?
Yep.
And for John, Fresca is at a B
tier.
So you guys both put Fresca at a B tier.
So you're both only mildly likely to join whatever cult's happening on the boys right now.
The Church of the Collective?
Yeah.
The Church of the Collective. Yeah. I love that.
Would you like a Fresca?
I keep wanting to Google, like, what the fuck? Like, is this an inside joke about Scientology that I just don't get? Are they always offering people Fresca?
Was I correct in guessing that it was who is the actor who plays the leader of that cult?
John Hamm.
The leader is good. The leader is great. We surrender our will as
he looked like. Oh no, it is him. It is. I was like, I swear to God, that's Goran Vasinchik from the ER. He was a doctor in ER for 10 years. One of my favorite shows. And I was like, that looks like him with a beard. And I looked it up, and yes, that is him with a beard. So he's Alistair Adana. Sorry, tier lists. We got to get through the tier list before we talk about the boys a little bit. But my highlights of my tier list, just real quick.
Yep.
Barks root beer, Canada Dry, regular Coca-Cola. That's like the top 3 for me, I think. Honorable mentions in the S tier: Diet Coke and Diet Dr. Pepper Cherry, which is amazing as a diet soda. And then I also had regular Dew and Livewire, which is my favorite Dew variant at S tier, as well as regular Sprite and Baja Blast, and the Canada Dry and grape soda. Those are all like my faves.
I did have Diet Dr. Pepper Cherry up in the S tier as well. So
everything else is pretty normal, but like my lower tiers is just the vanilla Coke. That weird feisty cherry Diet Coke that they made. It was like too spicy Coke. Yeah. It didn't work. The ginger lime Coke that was just a little bit too, like, I don't know, chemically, I thought. Mug root beer. Ugh. A&W is an A tier, but Mug is just like fucking, it tastes like
Mug
flat.
is not good, but it's not D tier.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I don't know if you're a person who likes root beer.
I'm a root beer connoisseur.
I know. Unless you're like extremely picky about it, I don't think there's any root beer that go like if you put a root beer in your S tier, it's hard for me to think that there's any root beer in your D or F tier.
And the problem here is the root beer in your S tier is Barks, which Barks is great. Barks is the only caffeinated root beer. I need caffeine and I like root beer. But it is not the best tasting root beer.
No, it is. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm a root beer connoisseur. And Barks has that peppery bite. The chemical or the herbaceous bitterness that root beer should have. A&W root beer is a A tier. It is incredible. It's creamy. It's my dessert root beer, is what I said. You know, whereas
I was about to say that if I were ever to make a root beer float, it has to be. Well, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. A&W is the best suited root beer, like mass-produced root beer, to make a root beer float with.
Correct.
And that's how I prefer to consume root beer. So I would I would put A&W in.
And here in Wisconsin, we can go straight to the A&W tap and find one of the few remaining A&W restaurants in the world.
There's one in.
I think we used to have one in Springfield, but it shut down.
Yeah.
There's one in Menominee, Michigan, on the way up to Stevenson. So.
Right. But TJ, you said you use a different root beer for root beer floats.
See, I like Mug with root beer floats.
Pepsi shill here. We got a Pepsi shill here.
I mean, you say that, and you're 100% right. But, I mean, you say that, but no, I think Mug is a great inoffensive root beer to use in a root beer float. But I like A&W on its own for its creaminess. I don't need to add more.
So I think, my argument with Mug is like it's in the middle, you know, whereas one is super creamy and one is super like, you know, like what is it, herby and it's got that bite to it like Barks does. And then this is in the middle. You don't want that. It's useless. You want one or the other. You don't need to like it's trying to be the jack of all root beers, master of none. So anyway, and then my that's D tier, by the way. F tier for me is Diet Mug, which is worse than Mug. And then regular cream soda and diet cream soda because I hate cream soda.
I can't believe you love root beer but hate cream soda.
Cream soda is root beer without the root.
It's a very like.
Do you like red? Have you ever had red cream soda before?
I have not, but I've heard it's good, and
I've never even heard of it.
It's a very different type of.
It's like a berry cream soda, right?
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I would say so, but it's not strong fruity like you think it. Like from visually appearing, it looks like a Fanta, but it is not as fruity as you think it would be. But it is very much more flavorful than a typical cream soda, so you might like it if you like root beer.
Yeah, the problem is that like I've always hated like sweet tea and like things that are just too like it's just too tastes like just sugar water, and that's what I feel like cream soda tastes like. It's just too like sugar watery.
It looks like Barks has a red cream soda.
They do, yeah. That's the one I would recommend trying too. That's probably my favorite red cream soda. Well, so I mean, like I would say mass produced, because there's a brand called Frosty that makes they sell them in like glass bottles and 6-packs. They do a blue cream soda and a red cream soda that I really like.
That sounds really good. I'd like to try that.
I mean, if we're gonna go custom cream sodas, at least where Matt and John are, we're gonna do Spreckers.
Oh yeah,
guaranteed.
Spreckers, great.
Oh, we get Spreckers here. Spreckers is delicious.
I've been to the Sprecker family, or the Sprecker. I've been on the factory tour.
Yeah, I went to the Sprecker brewery tour as well.
I think, but I'm not positive, but I'm almost positive. The biggest custard place in Springfield is called Andy's. It's just like a fairly regional, but not very far outside of Southwest Missouri kind of custard place. They use Spreckers for the root beer floats.
Nice.
And it's fucking good. It's absolutely delicious.
Nice. My anime god gets really weird when I open my mouth. I look like an old man yelling. Speaking of good, I'm a root beer and cream and what is it? Ginger ale. Those are my two favorite sodas. Root beer. I love like trying tons. Like we went to Galena, Illinois, which is like a fucking. That's where
the root beer capital of the Midwest.
U.S. Grant lived and lots of stuff. But they had like a crazy soda shop near the hotel we were staying at, and so we got like a 6-pack, and I got to try some like really like weird brands of soda. Number one, Cheerwine is incredible.
Oh, I only know about that because the McElroys talk about it. I guess it's a thing in the South.
It's like a cherry cola, but it's like 90% cherry.
Okay.
So it's very like cherry flavored cola, it's so good. And then there's also a thing called Green River soda. I don't know if you've ever had it. It's just a lime soda and it's bright green, like fucking Nickelodeon slime green, and it is very good. And I love lime flavor, so like a straight, not lemon lime, but lime soda is really good. I had that. But Culver's has their own root beer that I think is pretty good.
Yeah, the Culver's root beer is pretty good.
The Culver's root beer
it's very well suited to using it in floats, and I feel like it was probably designed for that.
One of the things that I really like about getting root beer at Culver's is that you don't have to tell them no ice. Or like it's because like everywhere I go I order no ice in my soda, because if you don't say that, it's like 95% ice and like a little squirt of drink. Especially at fucking Taco Bell. I love Baja Blast, but if you ever put ice in my Baja Blast and when I ask for no ice, I will be the Karen who makes you fucking pour me a new drink, because Taco Bell puts so much fucking ice in the cup with their automatic ice drink maker things. It's just not worth it. And I'm always like, Baja Blast, no ice. That's the fucking drink of champions right there. But at Culver's, I'm like, hey, yeah, just no ice. And like they expect that you're gonna, like, they ask you, is no ice okay? Because it fucking foams like a motherfucker whenever there's ice in the cup. So they don't want to put ice in it. My favorite soda of all time is called Julmust. It is a Swedish drink, sold...
It tastes like fermented sharks.
No, it's got hops in it. I think.
Nice.
It is... So it's made of carbonated water, sugar, hops, malt extract, spices, citric acid, and then caramel coloring and preservatives. But basically what it tastes like is cola, with a little bit of like spiciness to it. I wouldn't say it's hoppy in the way that you'd say a beer is hoppy, but hops were added to beer originally as a preservative, and that's why they were added to this drink as well. It reminds me of like if Coca-Cola took like a Christmas, like if there was a Christmas version of Coca-Cola. And it's fucking delicious, and in Sweden it outsells Coke and Pepsi by a lot every like Christmas. The only place you can really find it in the state, well, at least this was, years and years and years ago. It might be more available now, but is you can find it at IKEA. IKEA seems to have their own brand of Julmust that they dole out. The fun fact: the first time I ever had Julmust was from a Chinese IKEA.
Oh, really?
I've never been to China. My friends in 2013, they spent 6 months in China on like a study away thing, and they brought me back some illness. Well, it was just a general, like, you can go to China and do all your gen ed stuff if you want.
I wish
to.
I could have went to China.
Are they spies?
Yeah.
They study spycraft.
Yeah, they're spies now for the Chinese government with
Yeah.
the Chinese virus.
Government virus.
They went to Dalian, which is not near Wuhan, so no, definitely not.
So, another soda that I'm just looking up like fucking other people's like blog posts about best sodas, and this one's all right. It's got some good points. It puts Barks up pretty high, although it ranked fucking Mug higher than Dad's Root Beer is awesome.
Dad's Root Beer is good.
Which I like. Orange Crush is really good, like a great orange soda. I also mentioned that Fanta should never be ranked because it's a Nazi soda.
It's not a look. Sometimes
it was invented by the Nazis.
No, sometimes
So was the Volkswagen Bug.
Sometimes war breaks out, and you're like, "Hey, we're the German branch of Coca-Cola, and we can't get access to any of our supplies anymore
because we're Nazis."
That not everybody that worked at German Coca-Cola was
That's true.
Nazi.
They were just following their orders.
They were.
That's the problem, John. They couldn't fulfill orders because they couldn't get.
All right. Anyway, no, I just wanted to bring that up. But no, but they mentioned in this article, I completely forgot about it. It wasn't on our tier list. But, like the Jarritos soda.
Oh yeah,
like
those
Mexican
are great,
sodas. They mentioned Jarritos pineapple is fucking kick ass. A good pineapple soda is awesome.
No, I like the.
I love their lime.
Their
well.
ginger is really good.
Yeah,
and
I know
the tamarind
been
one is
some
really
hate.
good too.
And there's been some hate on peach sodas, but peach knee-high soda, which knee-high is a brand of, it's like kind of like Faygo. It's just like cheapo soda brand, but I fucking love peach knee-high.
I have had that before. I like peach flavored stuff. I'm not like.
The thing about peach knee-high is, I think the normal amount of calories for a like 12-ounce bottle is like 120 to 150. And I'm pretty sure a 12-ounce bottle of peach knee-high has like 260 calories in it because it is so much sugar and peach
Not with
flavoring,
extra
but it's
sugar.
fucking good.
Anyway, Royal Crown Cola is pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we both like that.
You only rank that low if you're classist. If you hate pores.
But I mean, honestly, when you're talking about best fruit sodas, I think it's got to be grape soda for me over orange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I like the grape soda more, and it's always Crush over Sunkist.
Grape soda is.
It's a fruit. It counts as one of my daily fruits.
Better. I would say that if I had to get a soda, like a 12-pack of soda, and the choice was between grape or orange, I'd probably get orange because it's less
that's
overpowering, I guess.
That's true.
But if someone said, "Hey, you get to have a soda," it would be grape every time.
Oh hell yeah! Because it's just the grape soda is just so sugary. Whereas at least with the orange soda, you can be like, all right, there's a little citrus bite to this. It isn't just straight sugar.
Yeah.
So, this guy mentions that Werner's ginger ale being really good, and I think I've had Werner's once before, and I remember really hating it. But I feel like I should give it another try because he's saying like it's much more gingery flavor.
The only ginger ale you need to have is Cock and Bull. It is the best ginger ale.
Is it?
It like if you like intense ginger flavor, it burns your fucking throat with ginger. It's so good.
I don't know if I want that right
now.
now.
That I've ever had. Oh man,
it's ginger beer you're talking about.
Yeah.
What is that brand?
That's different than ginger ale, but boy, do I love ginger beer.
It's primarily you find it in liquor stores because it's used to make Moscow Mules and stuff.
Yeah.
But man,
So
I love drinking that as soda.
Mules, I really like. What's the ginger beer with the seal on it?
Barrett's.
Is it?
Yeah.
My favorite ginger ale that I've ever had.
No, it's Gosling's is the one with the seal.
Oh,
Barrett's
really?
is the other one.
And that's funny because Gosling's like their rum company invented the Dark and Stormy. The only reason they make ginger beer is because they invented a cocktail for it.
I actually really like their ginger beer. It's got really good zip to it, And yeah, it's perfect for dark and stormies, which they mentioned.
My favorite, which I've just now realized is a ginger beer and not a ginger ale that I've had, is it's called Reed's.
Yep, ginger Reed's is awesome.
I've had Reed's.
I was going to mention that.
And it's specifically the extra ginger version of it. They sell it at Target in like 4-packs, and it's expensive. So you can't just like always have it on hand if you want to drink a lot of ginger beer. Yep. But it is very, very spicy and like it's delicious. I love Reed's.
Now, John, you're a scientist. What is functionally? What is the difference?
Yeah, Reed's Extra is my favorite.
What is the difference between a ginger ale and a ginger beer?
I honestly think it probably has to do with the brewing.
Because I figured it was just like a naming thing, and you tend to name it ginger beer if it's more intense.
Manufactured rather than brewed, frequently with flavor and color additives. Ginger ales are never brewed. So if it's brewed, it is a ginger beer. Although there are some brands that call their thing ginger beer that do not brew them. But if it is not brewed, it can or is a ginger ale, basically.
So,
who will sell ginger ales and call them ginger beers.
Yeah.
But traditionally, it's if you brew it, it's a ginger beer. If you do not brew it, it's a ginger ale.
Yeah. So it's because if it's a ginger ale, is basically just carbonated water that they put flavoring into, whereas ginger beer is like a beer where they put all the shit in a big old fermenter, and over days with real ginger, it creates with the bacteria they put in there creates the bubbles that make it carbonated.
Okay. That is what I like. I like the bubbles. Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
I like bacteria fucking in my drinks.
But the problem with ginger beer. The problem with ginger beer is you can't really mix it with anything that isn't an alcohol drink. Whereas like I like my ginger ale because it's smooth.
Yeah,
and so they've got different uses. Like I like a good.
I asked Ewan because of the name Canada Dry if Ewan likes ginger ale and if Canada Dry is popular in Canada.
I think that's
the response was that Canada Dry sucks.
Wow,
and that's a very American thing to assume because the rest of the ginger ale in Canada is actually good. And that was the response I got.
I'm gonna go get
it's got to be called Canada Dry because at some point there was like an extra sweet version, right? It's like this is our less sweet. This is our dry version. This is semi-dry ginger ale. It pairs well with fruit and white meats.
So Matt, you've been mixing some drinks lately.
I have been attempting to.
What the hell did you send me?
I've been trying to save some money, and it occurred to me that like White Claw is probably way too expensive for what it's made out of. And I got to thinking of like how I could just mix my own hard seltzers. And so I made a spreadsheet, and then I thought, who would love this spreadsheet? TJ. TJ loves spreadsheets. Yes. Like I think I sent it to you, and then I went to take a shower, and like over an hour later I heard back from you that like you created a pivot table and like added more features and stuff.
Well, I said I was going to do a pivot table, but what I did was I set an auto updating calculating thing where you can put in your different experimental vodkas, your different experimental seltzers. You can tell it, this vodka comes in a this ounce thing. It costs you this much. You can look at your price per mix, your ABVs, and will automatically tell you which blends will be your upper and lower tier for getting close to that 5% ABV. Yeah. Just because you wanted to have something similar. From your spreadsheet, it looks like you're trying to get something similar alcohol content.
Yeah,
but White Claw.
Now it's looking like I want to go more closer to like 3-4% because that's more like a beer, and I can just fucking pound those all night without a problem.
That could be fixed pretty easily. I know that at least with the way I have all of the formulas are like self-referential and are like referencing all the other parts of it. Just change your ideal ABV for where you have it in the White Claw section of my spreadsheet, and that will adjust how much of whichever vodka you're using to mix with whatever seltzer. And I put in 2 generic vodkas and 2 generic seltzers where it's just like vodka B, vodka C. But put in whatever blends you want to get, and then I gave you a rating table at the bottom that will automatically color code based on a rating scale from 0 to 5, the patented board in the 80s rating scale. Just don't change anything that's in blue because those are calculated values.
Okay. I'll tell you what I did learn from my first night of self-experimentation was that I was using vodka. I think like the brewed hard seltzers use like a malt liquor kind of situation.
Probably.
So I did end up having to add in a shot of San Pellegrino to add some more sweet flavor to balance it out. So White Claw isn't really a hard cider. It's more like just kind of a really mild hard soda. Yeah, because there's definitely sugar in those. After like tasting the version that was just like seltzer and booze.
Yeah. So
we're talking about Matt's alchemy that he's performing.
Yeah.
Here's something that I do for mixed drinks. I take honey, maple syrup,
and
agave nectar, I think.
Okay.
And I just basically
all
like
together?
mix them together. Yeah,
because that's basically like three versions of sugar together.
I know, but they're very good. Sugar,
but they
go well
have
together.
different. Okay.
So like the thing that is special about them is that so if you make a simple syrup like for mixing drinks, you're usually using like processed sugar, and that makes it a little bit more, I don't know, like it's still watery. It's still very watery. It adds a little bit of thickness if you use like honey, agave, and like what was the other one I said? Maple syrup.
Actual syrup,
Maple syrup. Especially if it's if you use maple syrup, make sure you're not getting like quote unquote pancake maple syrup, because what that is corn syrup with maple flavoring.
Yeah.
I want Aunt Jemima. They removed her from the label.
Oh no. Fucking millennials ruining everything.
We started watching Lovecraft Country the other night, and there's a very like well placed Aunt Jemima billboard that's just like, ugh, yikes.
Yeah. It was pretty yikes.
It's like having never seen the old ones and just being like, oh, that's the lady from TV. She seemed real nice. And it was like, wow, the old ones are super bad.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's how the world used to be. Just
so if anyone
what's the thing from Ghost World?
Ghost World.
Yeah, the racist like burger joint signs that Steve Buscemi's character collected.
I don't know what Ghost World is.
What is Ghost World? What have you done?
The movie Ghost World.
The movie Ghost World starring Steve Buscemi?
Is that a sequel to Ghost Dad?
You've never seen Ghost World?
Ghost World
film with Scarlett Johansson and Thora Birch.
Never heard of it.
Oh.
Has anyone except for you seen this movie?
Yeah, it's really popular. Are
you sure
a really good movie?
I'm pretty sure Ghost World is the WoW classic that we play.
You guys know about the Mandela.
It was nominated for an Academy Award.
Have you guys heard of the Mandela effect? People say that there was a movie in the 90s called Sinbad that was a genie movie.
Yeah, it's just because people are kind of racist.
It's called Shazam.
No, that's the real one that exists. But
no,
people
Kazam
say no, there was a genie movie in the 90s, and it was called
Kazam
Sinbad.
is the real one. Shazam is the one that people made.
What I want you guys to look up is Coon Chicken Inn.
I don't want to look up that. It'll make me so sad.
I'm in Missouri, so like
I want you to look.
I'm already added to the list that I would get added to for searching.
I just want you to look up what their restaurants looked like.
Please be a raccoon. Please be a raccoon. Please be. No! What the fuck is that?
It's blackface, isn't it? I haven't looked it up.
It's like a minstrel caricature.
There's a giant blackface head that you walk through.
Minstrel show style? No.
Yeah. It's fucking bad, man.
And so that's in like Ghost World, the Steve Buscemi character like collects old like signs of like stuff, and that was just one thing. And he talks
Coon
about how,
Chicken Inn was an American chain of 4 restaurants founded by Maxon Lester Graham and Adelaide Burt in 1925, which prospered until the late 1950s. The restaurant's name contains the word coon, considered an ethnic slur, and the trademarks and entrances of the restaurants were designed to look like a smiling caricature of African American porter. I don't know what porter means there.
Porter, I think that's like
it's like a waiter.
Yeah, like
okay.
Yeah.
The smiling capped porter head also appeared on menus, dishes, and promotional items. Due to change in popular culture and the general consideration of being culturally and racially offensive, the chain closed in 1957.
Yeah.
The first Coon Chicken Inn was opened in suburban Salt Lake City, Utah in 1925.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and so it's a Utah thing.
And then to Oregon, which like Portland now it's pretty chill, but like apparently Oregon was founded as like a segregation colony. It's a super not great place to be. Wow, this is fucked up.
Yeah, sorry I had to bring that up, but I
can't believe that was
we're talking about like racist imagery, and like
I can't believe that was real.
They just went for it. So
they're just like, it's 1925. This is a totally cool thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, it was back then.
I know, but like, just the giant face entrance alone would be terrifying if it wasn't.
And all the ads are just like mammy, Al Jolson style blackface stuff. And
weirdly enough, when I look at like pictures of people posing in the restaurant, they're all white. I don't.
Huh?
Is that?
Huh.
I'm confused.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like with the name and the logos, it was catering towards.
Yeah,
a certain...
I was sure this was going to be like a black-owned business. Oh, I guess not. Oh my god!
So John, save us from this. Tell me about The Boys, because I'm sure I probably won't see it.
Speaking of horrific and racist imagery.
Oh man, it went full on this week.
Yeah. So The Boys.
Sorry.
I think we talked about it last season when it was on. But
here's our The Boys intro theme.
I'll eat your ass.
I
will eat your ass.
That's fair. So The Boys is based on the Garth Ennis comics penned by Derek Robertson. I think Derek Robertson did Transmetropolitan, but I don't think that was Garth Ennis.
So before we get into this, how cool is like specifically Matt if I like say spoilers that come from the comics? Because I know that me and John have both.
I have not read through the whole thing, but I have read through I think 8 of the 12 trade paperbacks, like the comic collections or whatever they are.
I've definitely read all of them, but it was when I was in high school.
Yeah, because they came out like I think early 2000s.
At this point, they've deviated.
Yeah, it was pretty much right when I started high school, so like 2005 or 6.
I think it's fair to say spoilers from the comics because the show is clearly deviating from the comics in a lot of ways, and I would say anything that would come up in the comics would be similar to just us speculating what could happen because they've like changed a lot. Like
so how many?
Lamplighter being alive.
6 episodes.
Yeah, 6 episodes into season 2.
Yeah.
Out of 8, there's 2 more. Who wrote this? Warren Ellis wrote it. A much better writer, right? Or is Warren Ellis canceled?
I have no idea.
Warren Ellis is definitely canceled.
I assume everybody.
He was the one who got canceled. Yes. Sexual coercion allegations.
Oh wait, for real?
This was like in 2020.
Yes.
Would not put it past me. Garth Ennis is also terrible, I'm assuming. Just because of how basically...
Just from what I've heard of his writing, he's just super edgelord.
Yes.
And I assume that means he's done... things.
We've talked about this before, because he wrote Preacher, and Preacher's really good. But then he was like... And the Preacher gets super edgy, too. Like, edgelordy and stuff.
Yeah.
But to a point. Whereas, like, with The Boys, he was just like, I'm just going to have, like... Homelander exploding babies and laughing, and then tits with him fucking like 20
and
women
then a lot of it was like really I would say like juvenile, but also like just kind of over the top political commentary in the sense that like, so the plane that you might remember from season 1 that they saved, that was a 9/11 plane in the comics. Like for no reason, it's just, oh, this is a 9/11 plane, you know, like like just to be like, oh, politics, remember?
Lolitics.
So so the show is much better in pretty much every way.
It is 100% better in every way. Because
Season 2 has introduced Stormfront, who in the comics was just he was just a Nazi.
A
like
literal
he was
Nazi guy.
Yeah, he was just invented by the Nazis as the first superhero. And then he went to America and he was still Stormfront. Like, he was Stormfront from the beginning, and he's Stormfront now. He just always Stormfront. There's not a whole lot of backstory to Stormfront, really, except for that he was a Nazi. Whereas in the show, Stormfront is the second, or possibly more than second, name of Liberty, who also was a Nazi, or is a Nazi, but they're running with it with the fact that like Americans post World War II are where the Nazis are at. Yeah, which I think is good.
Yeah, well, and like basically it was an Operation Paperclip thing where they were like, here, we're gonna bring you in. It's gonna be we need your skills, so we're just gonna fucking give you a new name. And like, no, it's fine. Erase this thing. Go ahead. And it also introduces the idea that the whole like superhero thing was just like a eugenics experiment, which is
and that's kind of what that's kind of so and that's kind of the whole point of the whole point of like the boys and the comics and the show, and I think the reason why, even though the comics are really juvenile and kind of gross, are still still compelling enough to read, is the point is that like superheroes are basically just like these genetically superior people who basically look down upon anyone who doesn't have powers and are awful people. Yeah. And you just enjoy watching the boys kick the shit out of them.
One of the things I really like about the show that the comics didn't even, like, this was not a thing in the comics, was all of Queen Maeve's character in the show didn't exist in the comics.
Oh, really?
Like, in the comics,
she's just an alcoholic.
She was like she was basically like Wonder Woman mixed with Barbie. And like she was very booby. Like she was very booby in the comics because of kind of comic that it was.
Yeah, and then
something happens that she
it's the 9/11 thing.
Yep. So on the plane thing, she gets
similar
depressed
to
about
the
that,
show.
and then just that, but like in the sense that all her character is after the 9/11 plane thing is, I just fuck random guys all the time and drink, and that's all I do.
Drink and smoke, and I'm checked out. Whereas in the show, she's a lot more empathetic to and they've also made her gay, which is probably one of the best things that they've done in the show.
Well,
is
the best thing
it's skewering Marvel movies.
The best thing they've done is when they outed her, and then you get this like really gross, like performative ally stuff from
We're gonna have a huge
like,
campaign about you coming out, and
just like the fucking Pride bar thing and stuff.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same shit as when what's her name, the trans lady that came out, Caitlyn Jenner, and they had this whole like campaign when she like was like, I am Caitlyn. All of this shit, and she's a fucking scumbag who voted for Trump and is awful.
Killed somebody with her car.
Someone in her car, like she's a scumbag. But like she had this PR machine around her, which is the kind of the same thing that they're doing here, is that they just like,
it reminds me, although like the characters are very different, it reminds me of what Kevin Spacey tried to do after he got outed as a rapist. Was like, I'm just gonna now publicly live my life as a gay, and like everyone was like,
this is like, dude, no, that's not that's not what we had a problem with.
Yes,
it's a whole other thing.
No, one of the funny things about the show, though, is that once she's outed, they have like for a large portion of the first 6 episodes, they're filming like the Seven returns.
Dawn of the Seven. It's basically like their Avengers Endgame.
Dawn of the Seven. A-Train is being replaced. He's the like black superhero, and there's like hashtag heroes so white because they're getting rid of like an African American superhero.
Oh, really? I completely missed that.
Yeah. It just feels so real. And then they like divert from that by outing Maeve as gay. I'm like, well, at least we have a gay superhero. And they're like, really? Who is it? And they're like, she's sitting right here. And
yeah, it's Homelander outing her without consent on live TV.
Yeah, on live, unlike a Maria Menounos who's actually there. And then she has an interview with Katie Couric later. I think it gets very real.
Season 1 of The Boys, Homelander was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Season 2, Homelander isn't scary at all.
Yeah.
Because
he's only scary in the power that he has, but like,
and he's not scary because we have a bigger monster.
Yeah,
like, right. Well, he's the strongest superhero. I'm.
But he's not.
Sure.
But he's not smart. Like he doesn't have direction. Like
what made Homelander scary in season 1 was his public manipulation skill and the way that he could just turn on a dime. And now Stormfront is that times infinity.
Yeah,
she could do that and like be like, instead of being the like Captain Good Boy America thing that's Homelander was doing, she's like, oh, you're your fun, relatable friend that doesn't take shit from anyone, and also she's a Nazi.
Yeah,
and
I love that. I mean, it is so true when you think about like the issue we have with white women, like all the things like calling the cops on the African American men doing shit, like, and it's like I have black friends, kind of like that whole thing. I'm so glad that they made Stormfront a girl. Like it's so good. Like to make that choice. And Aya Cash, who plays her, is so good.
Yeah,
she's really so good.
Yeah, and the girls get it done thing. God.
Oh yeah, and so they do a thing in the movie where it's literally like the Marvel thing when all the women like show up and are like, we're gonna fight, and it's like they just have like a girls get it done hashtag.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh, it's so cringy. No, but the point in the movie, Maeve has a storyline where she's gay, and she like comes out to this like, I don't know, goth-looking hacker lady who is helping them, and then she says, "I'm gay," and there's like a couple beats, and then like she tries to kiss her, and they're interrupted. And I'm like, that is so exactly how a Disney thing would handle that.
Like we can know it, we can't show it. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, they literally did that with was it the Beauty and the Beast with LeFou, who's canonically gay, I guess, but in the original movie they didn't. But they like came out saying that they had a gay character, but he does literally nothing to show that.
It's like in like the closing shot.
Well, if they have it in the
he's dancing
like,
with the man.
It's like a huge pan shot of entire ballroom of dancing people, and if you look in the corner, there's LeFou dancing with what appears to be a person in a tuxedo.
Yeah, the thing is, you can say whatever you want in English language media,
or it could be we can have
like you can't have it shown so that it hurts your overseas numbers. Come on.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very much in the way that like J.K. Rowling, the bitch that she is just like, by the way, Dumbledore is gay, and like I never wrote it in the books, but I feel like I should get good PR for it. And also, when they consult for the movies, I'm going to tell them to not actually put any gay in there either.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like the Dumbledore being gay was something I thought about when the books, especially the last book, because he's got it's like.
Do you think about it
really
a lot?
Good childhood friend.
Do you think think about it like when you were alone and lonely?
Yeah, I do. I wrote a lot of fanfic. So anyway, no.
John is the actual author of My Immortal.
Yes. Oh my God, My Immortal. Anyway, oh my God, I kind of want to read that now just because I've heard how bad it is.
Oh God,
no, but
it could be a recurring segment.
The Boys is just so good because it just skewers like pop culture and like the corporatism that exists and like all just kind of how
social media and
just enabling. Yeah, because like part of the reason why Stormfront is terrifying is because like she does and says some of the like edgy stuff a bit, but she like doesn't go over the line like Homelander does. But then she has like literally is talking about like how she's got like a meme factory guy who just is like blasting social media with like right-wing memes, that support her.
So as someone from the South, I mean, it's obviously terrible. The things that Stormfront says that freak me out aren't when she's like, open your eyes, you yellow bastard, and then kills Kimiko's brother, or whenever she just randomly kills the black family in the apartment, or whenever she kills the black guy when she's Liberty. Like that is all fucking bad, but that's not what scares. What scares me is when she said, if this meme ends up on your uncle's Facebook page, that means it's working.
Yeah.
Like that one's the one that's like that's social manipulation that's just going on right now, and people will explain it away because Facebook is convenient, and that's where I get Facebook Marketplace. But it's like that's literally destroying society right now.
I'm going to bastardize this quote because I don't want to look it up, but she has an amazing quote in the previous episode where she says, you have 50 million people on your side, and 10 million people hate you. I've got 5 million people that like fucking hate that, and that's better than like it's like I've got people that would like die for me versus and that's kind of what it feels like with the alt-right. Like you got these people that are just insanely fanatical, and that's more like a small group of that is way more important.
There was this weird scene where Storm kept going on about how, like, medically speaking, a dry pussy is totally normal and a wet pussy is bad. So,
well, she used his laser vision to try it out.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my
Homelander
God.
dried out that wet ass pussy with his lasers.
Oh my God, dude! I love that, and I love the fact that this happens in the comics too, when like she's just like, no, I'm like 90 or like 100, because I was born in 1925, 1913 or whatever she says, because like superheroes also don't age, like they're literal like immortal beings, and it's kind of terrifying.
Here's a picture of Himmler. He was a great dancer.
Oh, I know. And she's just like got a photo of her with like Adolf Hitler, and you're just like, oh my God. Well, they went there. Like, I mean, it's great. I love it. It's so good. The second season's been like, I don't know, somehow even better than the first. Like, and they've already talked about how I think they're doing a spin-off series on Amazon, and I think they're going to do another season because I guess The Boys is the most watched original program on Amazon. I
mean, what else does Amazon have? Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is pretty decent.
I like High Castle, I guess.
Hannah is one of their originals, and
Homecoming, that show with
Homecoming's all right. Hannah got a really good first season, and then like the second season gets like really messy and bad writing, and you can tell it's one of those shows that like doesn't know how to follow up the writing from the first season at all. And Man in High Castle is all right.
The casting though in The Boys is so good. Carl Urban is so great. Anthony Starr as Homelander is so terrifying. Aaron Moriarty is like just perfect as Starlight, just this like innocent.
Haley Joel Osment is in it.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, well,
in season 1. No, it's mostly a cameo, really.
Elizabeth Shue is really good in season 1. She shows up a little bit in season 2. Chase Crawford is the Deep is so good. Like the stuff they did the previous season with like the Me Too movement and like having Starlight, who was sexually assaulted by him when she joined the Seven, like have like I won't be silent like campaign and stuff, and they're like, and then they did like the Catholic Church thing where they like shuffled him off to like a smaller venue.
Which that's one of the things that they did that is different from the comics, because the Deep didn't do that in the comic. He really wasn't that important in the comics.
No,
and
God, no.
Black Noir was the one who sexually assaulted Starlight in the comics.
Well, in the comics, it was Black Noir, Homelander, and A-Train.
Yes,
it was a three-way. But I just love it. It's so good. Like with like it just, oh my God, like, it just picks at corporate like media and like corporate wokeness in a way that I just love. Like the fact that like they talk about like how A-Train's like not worried about leaving the Seven because he's like, I got a sneaker deal with like Adidas and like all this shit.
Under Armour and Nike.
Oh my God. And it's just like, it's
one thing that I'm curious about is if they're still going to have it be Black Noir is the father of the kid and not
so
Homelander,
that's a
because
comic spoiler,
because that's what the comics did. But like,
you know what's great? I had an emergency pee during that spoiler, so I didn't even hear it.
I don't
like,
want to spoil. I don't want to spoil that because I feel like the show definitely probably is going to pull that. The Black Noir. So we don't know who Black Noir's identity is.
Oh yeah, you've been talking about that in the Discord.
But
that
it's really
seems like
really
something that I
up.
shouldn't know yet.
I guess they have a different actor playing Black Noir that I would have if it is who it's supposed to be. But also they could just be doing that because if you cast that person to play that, it would give it away if you looked at the casting list. So.
That's true. Yeah.
Let's just say Black Noir is he's got a fucked up origin that's related to one of the main characters.
Yeah.
So,
it's actually Carl Urban, like not Billy
the
Butcher.
actor
it's
Carl Urban.
The actor Carl Urban.
It's the actor Carl Urban.
No. But I really like it. It's like they took the best parts of the comics. And I was actually reading an interview with Garth Ennis, and he absolutely loves the Boys show, which is like good. I'm glad you are not like they ruined my vision. It's like no, he's like it gets.
No, I feel like he's like no, man, it's great, and also I get so much money.
I mean,
Yeah.
And I wish I would have liked the Preacher show more than I did. Like I liked it, but.
I loved Preacher. It got a little bit weird after like around season 2 or 3, but
it's kind of how the comics get to. But
I
the comics also have like a definitive ending. I love the idea of Preacher because it's like this guy who got this power from God because the fucking like gods were fucking and doing dumb shit, and then he just ends up cursed with it and kills this whole congregation. And he's like, I'm gonna go fucking kill God because he sucks.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of the show, and it's neat. I like the premise of that.
Preacher got me like I liked it, but that it got me hooked forever when it was like, okay, so we contacted God and heaven doesn't know where he is right now.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking knows.
He's gone. Yeah, so I really like that. Oh yeah, Preacher's good. The comics are really good on that. The comics are worth reading.
Okay, I'll probably pick those
sure.
up then.
Yeah, I would recommend it. The comics are very good.
Other shows that like remind me of Preacher, well, specifically comics, American Gods, is kind of also
shit.
that way.
Where is that streaming?
That's on Stars. The first season is pretty good. The second season is terrible, and the third season is probably going to be awful.
They kicked off the showrunner from season 1,
and they lost some of the cast. So like,
because the cast was like, we don't want to work with anyone else.
Yeah, the show fell apart. The second season is not a bad show, but compared to the first season, it's bad.
Yeah. So American Gods, I need to finish reading that book. I'm like probably 60% through, but I'd like to read more of it.
It's good. Like the first season's good, and like if you know that the second season isn't good, but you still want to follow the story to its completion, it's worth watching. But American Gods also reminds me of that. Something else that I watched this week, I watched all of Cobra Kai, which has 2 seasons on Netflix now.
Oh,
okay.
Nice.
Can you actually tell me what that series is about rather than TJ just saying it's good?
Yeah, I can. So
why would I watch this?
I've already tried to tell you guys, but you wouldn't listen.
Sure.
Have you seen
John
the
doesn't
Karate
listen to
Kid?
anybody. You just have to shout at him until he stops talking.
I've seen the Karate Kid, and I know that it stars the guy who he beat up.
Right. Yeah. So, his name's Johnny Lawrence.
Yeah.
And basically after that fight, Cobra Kai got kicked out, like permanently banned from competing in karate again. And that's kind of not true because the third Karate Kid, but that most of that, like the other Karate Kid movies are technically like kind of canon, but the first one's the only one they really reference very often. Like they'll show a flashback.
Well, the second one he's in
one.
Japan, so
right, yeah. But the third one he's back in.
And the fourth one he's Hilary Swank.
God damn it!
They haven't referenced Hilary Swank. But I think and
in
Hilary
the fifth
Swank
one,
is
he's
cool with
Will
it.
Smith's kid.
Yeah. Oh,
So yeah, that was a bad movie. The Jackie Chan one.
I like Jackie Chan.
So anyway, so basically Johnny Lawrence they're like, well, let's see what he's doing with his life now. And they go, and it turns out he ended up being kind of a bump. They like the show. Like
Okay,
the show
they're just like, let's
The
follow him.
omnipresent camera that follows this man around and records his life so we can watch and be entertained.
The show is the premise of like, what did he ended up doing? And it turns out that like he had kind of a fucked up childhood, and karate was like his way of like associating with people and getting away from his stepdad, who's really, really rich, but really, really abusive and stuff. So like, that's why he was part of Cobra Kai to begin with. And once they got banned and he, at the end of the first Karate Kid movie, Kreese, the Cobra Kai trainer, sensei guy, tries to basically kill Johnny. So that basically made him stop going to karate and opens up with him like just doing odd jobs around town. So you get the sense that like this guy never really accomplished or became anything after that karate tournament. Like karate was kind of like his way out into the world, and that was taken away from him.
Yeah.
Basically because of the karate that he was taught by his sensei.
Yeah, he was taught like dirty karate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he basically like
That's the episode title.
You're right, yeah.
Dirty karate.
Dirty karate.
That's my new album.
So he has basically just not done anything in his life. He hasn't gotten internet. He hasn't gotten a smartphone. Like he's basically just like, he likes his car that he's had since the 80s, and he just lives his life that way.
Dirty karate.
And it starts off with him getting a new neighbor, kind of in the way that the first Karate Kid starts off with Mr. Miyagi getting a neighbor in Ralph Macchio. Mm-hmm. And the new neighbor is a son, and
I prefer a Ralph Frappuccino.
Frappuccino, nice.
Okay, sorry. Is that racist against Italians?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. Macchiatos are fine.
Yeah, Ralph Macchiato.
The Ralph Macchiato at Starbucks isn't a real Ralph Macchiato.
Ralph Macchio still, well, not Ralph Macchio, but
Ralph Macchiato.
Can our term be Ralph Macchiato?
I've only ever called him Ralph Macchiato.
LaRusso, what's his first name? Daniel.
Danny
Daniel-san.
Daniel-san.
Yes, Daniel-san. That's right. So he's a car salesman. He owns like a big auto group, basically.
That makes sense. Used car salesman.
Yeah.
Not used car. He's basically like, think of whatever. Like for me, it's like
a full dealership.
Yeah, like reliable dealer is the dealership here. And
think about your most annoying local car advertisement.
Exactly, like it's the big one, like the biggest one in your area that has billboards, always on TV, and has ads on every side and bullshit like that. He's basically that, and he's really rich. Okay. He is kind of seen as the bad guy because it's mostly told from the perspective of Johnny Lawrence. Like the first season especially is mostly told from Johnny's perspective, so it's like when he tells the story of the first Karate Kid, he says like, oh, Danny, and like I was hanging out with my girlfriend Allie, and Danny came to the beach and he just fucking kicked my ass for no reason because he wanted to get with Allie, which is actually true.
Yeah.
Like if you watch the first Karate Kid movie, like absolutely Daniel's in the wrong. And like, not to say that Johnny's a good character. He's played as like the douchebag boyfriend, but it literally was Daniel being like, hey, I want to go talk to that guy's girlfriend, and I know they're in a relationship, and then I'm gonna fucking punch him. Like he was in the wrong there. Not that Johnny was any good. So basically,
the important thing is in the 80s, our heroes were also villains.
Yeah,
well, I mean, it's like go ahead.
The new kid, Karate Kid, his name is Miguel. He gets into like a fight outside of the Quickie Mart that Johnny's going to get Coors Banquet from, because that's his thing. He drinks Coors Banquet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It
like,
is the Banquet beer.
It's a very like over the top. Like they reference Coors Banquet a lot.
I really hope for season 1 YouTube had like a fucking product placement deal with Coors Banquet.
That'd be awesome.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He gets to a fight outside that Quickie Mart, and Miguel, the new kid, does, and gets his ass kicked. And Johnny, his neighbor, pulls out the karate move and beats up all the kids. Well, and that's basically like the instigator. He doesn't do a good job of it. You hear like his back creaking and shit, and he's kind of got a beer gut now.
But he's fighting children, so it's okay.
He really only did it because they touched his car.
Right, yeah.
He wasn't really doing it out of the goodness out of his heart.
That's kind of the instigator for like why Miguel and Johnny like he's like, kid, you need to learn how to like not get your ass kicked. So he's like, yeah, I could do Cobra Kai. I could be Cobra Kai guy. I'm gonna
make
rent.
it return.
I'm gonna go to that mini mall and rent a room. Like basically, he has one kid who doesn't have money who wants to know karate, and he's like, I'm gonna open up a fucking dojo, and it does not go well. That's kind of the instigator into it.
So is it like a comedy or a drama?
It's I would say, a comedy action movie. There's a lot of choreographed fight scenes, and they're pretty good, but it's also a very over the top comedic show.
Okay. So comedy
and
action.
a lot of it, especially season 2, is about like Johnny and Daniel trying to reconcile. Johnny has a son who he basically was never in contact with, who hates him, and that's part of the story, especially because like Miguel, the new Karate Kid character, is kind of like becoming a son figure to Johnny, and then like Johnny's actual son is like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
and so that's part of the story.
Throughout the meat of this, thematically, it's about, you know, the good guys aren't all good, the bad guys aren't all bad. As you get in the second season, it's kind of hard to toe the line that one side is good and one side is bad, because you're rooting for one side, and like then they're assholes, and then you're like, well, these guys are nice.
The writing is a little bit confusing to me. I don't think it was a bad season, but there's a lot of times you don't know who's friends and who's enemies anymore, because like it just switches back and forth so rapidly between episodes.
And I think that's the point. But season 3 is coming out next year, and season 2 ends with the best fight scene I've ever seen in any piece of media. Well, sorry, without special effects. Like the best martial arts. Well, actually, let me just say it this way: it's the best. Oh fuck!
It's so good. TJ broke everything.
What just blew up, TJ?
A balloon just popped out of nowhere.
Was your tripod a balloon the whole time?
No.
I thought that was going to be like your phone battery or something exploded.
TJ's getting fireworks flashbacks. You okay, TJ?
It sounded like a gunshot almost.
Yeah.
Hang on. Okay, that's better.
All right, TJ's changed his filter to blue.
All right. But no, it's the best, most well choreographed school fight scene I've ever seen.
Yep.
Season 2 ends with that. I highly recommend seeing it, but you gotta watch the rest before you get into that.
No, I think I'll end up watching that because.
Now in season 3, I heard they do unite to battle Hillary Swank and just beat the shit out of her. Is that?
We hope so.
Hillary Swank has not like said anything. I don't know what like.
I don't know if that's canon though. So
it's definitely canon. I believe there's one reference maybe that like you could take as like, because they're talking about what Mr. Miyagi did, because he's dead now, because he was like a million in the 80s, so of course he's dead now.
Pat Morita.
And also Pat Morita just loved fucking drinking constantly.
Actually, what's funny is Pat Morita died in 2005 and the Mr. Miyagi died in 2011, so apparently Miyagi had a less severe drinking habit than fucking Pat Morita did. No, it's a pretty good show. I think my favorite thing about it is that like the Johnny character is a dick in a lot. Like he starts to get better in season 2, but in season 1 he is a dick. Like he's like, this kid Miguel is a nice kid and he's very like considerate, and Johnny's just like, no, that's fucking lame. Don't be lame. Be badass. And it would be something about I remember one. There's a girl who wants to join the dojo. And he's like, girls can't be in this fucking dojo. It's the way of the fist. And he's like, but girls can fight too. He's like, nah, man, that's not badass. They want to be a fucking dojo full of women. And then, like, eventually, he's like, all right, fight. And the girl just whoops on Miguel's ass. So he's like, all right, whatever, that's badass.
You're mixing season 2 and 1 there, because the first girl that joins the dojo, Miguel's like, you know who her father is, because her father was rich. Aisha.
Yeah, I know Aisha, but when he says, "All right, show Miguel what you got," and Miguel kicks her on the ground, and Aisha immediately fucking spears him, Like after that, like
fair,
like Miguel kicks her on the ground, and then immediately Aisha spears him, like right after that. And that's what that plus the money thing. But then like a couple episodes later, he's trying to recruit kids, and he's like calling people, and someone calls him and is like is it a boy or a girl? And they said, gender what? Is this a prank call? Like, so it's very like he's a dick. He's still a dick. He gets better, but he's a dick.
He's very problematic, but
yes.
But weirdly enough, he tries to work through it in times, but not all the time.
All right. Well, we gotta move on. We're up against the time limit here of this episode. Because
so you guys done talking about TV? Do you can we switch to start talking about Korra?
Let's say we gotta talk about our
this whole episode's been to like streaming and TV. This whole episode's been a book club. It's great.
Well, oh my god, Cookout!
The only thing I did in the meantime was stream movies.
Sorry, we have our listener who probably left by now, but he said he heard about the restaurant Cookout. I want to go to Cookout.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
I looked it up, and it's literally just like North Carolina,
our
Virginia.
Listener is Jeremy. Jeremy's a friend of mine.
Hi, Jeremy.
He's cool.
No, Cookout's just like hot dogs and burgers and shit, but it sounds like great. It's like got sliders and they have
and
like
probably
apparently
potato
really
salad.
great shakes, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah. They have a fresh watermelon milkshake, which sounds, I don't know about that, but
yeah, I don't get the whole watermelon watermelon doesn't really have a
they
flavor.
got like a banana pudding milkshake that sounds amazing.
That sounds great.
I like watermelon in the sense of watermelon Jolly Ranchers, which means not really watermelon, just like a flavor that is called watermelon.
But watermelon hard seltzers are everywhere, and it's just like watermelon doesn't have a taste. You can't.
I know.
It's literally named water.
While you brought up hard seltzers, I meant to bring it up earlier, but there's a brewery in Kansas City called Boulevard, and they've released some hard seltzers.
I love brewery. I love Boulevard. I love their.
Oh, you get Boulevard up in?
Yeah,
I guess it's not that far. They're pretty big.
Their farmhouse ale is really good.
Their seltzer then. It's called Quirk.
Quirk.
It is weird flavor, I wouldn't say weird like toe jam and boogers or anything like that, but it's like the one that I had that was extremely good was basil and strawberry. Oh my god, it was like spicy strawberry, but it was like a little bit of savory, but it was like sweet from the strawberry and then like spicy from the basil as well.
Strawberry, lemon, basil. Oh man, fuck, pear yuzu. I don't know what
yuzu is.
Yuzu?
Asian citrus fruit.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I love pears and blackberries. That shit looks good.
And the one that I didn't like too much, but only because I felt like it should have been sweeter, was there was one that was blackberry.
Yeah, blackberry sage. It looks like
blackberry and sage, and it's a great it gives a lot of body to the blackberry flavor, but it really needs to be sweeter. Mm-hmm. But my friend who doesn't drink a lot of or eat a lot of sweet things said she really liked it because it wasn't sweet. So if you like a seltzer but something less sweet and you like blackberries, that one would be a good one too.
That's kind of where I am with I love sweet when it's connected to chocolate and that genre of sweet. I don't like super sweet fruity stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, that's where I stick to beer because as much as hard seltzer is good because it's not as heavy as beer is and carbs and shit, it just got so much sugar and I know that my body converts the carbs into sugar after I drink the beer, but I don't have to taste the beer.
Yeah, but then it's like your body's doing a workout as it's converting the carbs into sugar, so it's it solves itself.
My friend who doesn't like sweet things is a dietitian, and she would probably get really mad if I said that to her.
All right, we got to talk about the Legend of Korra.
All right, they fought some stuff. All right, see you next time on Born in the 80s. I'm MattHagMusic.com. Just text Joe to 30330.
All right.
So we watched 4 episodes of The Legend of Korra.
A million years ago.
Yeah, I feel like
we're still doing 5 through 8, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay, good. I saw those.
I gotta look up a Legend of Korra Wikia.
So the famous
And-
hacker Anon threatens to attack the pro bending arena if the council
5 through
doesn't.
8. Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Book 1 Air, Episode 5. Spirit of Competition. All right, so this one we don't need to get into too much detail because it's basically just this is the pro bending tournament final that we were talking about. And so
The
I guess
main
the
thing
end
that happens in this is that
is the end.
Cora's horny for Mako.
Yeah,
Mako is horny
for Asami.
Yeah. Bolin's horny for Cora.
And
they have a
weirdly
broken
enough,
contest.
Asama is horny for Naga, which is super gross.
So the episode basically is like Cora and Bolin.
Yeah,
This is a thing that happened to me. And Cora is like, well, I can't have Mako because he's hanging out with Asami. And Bolin, he's a friend, so we can just go and hang out and be friends. But Bolin's horny.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I've had this happen to me where I'm like, hey, this girl is my friend. We're gonna go to the hardware store and listen to the new Fall Out Boy album.
Oh,
And
hardware
then
store
she's
is
horny.
hardware store
And I
is an
didn't know.
instant aphrodisiac.
I didn't know. I've never talked to her since. Sorry.
Yeah, so
Kelsey, if you're listening.
Bolin wants to listen to the new Fall Out Boy album, and Cora's like, you know what? Why not? So they like have their first match of the tournament and do really well, and then they kind of have this love triangle thing, and then they Cora and Mako fight, and then they kiss, and then Bolin like walks in on it and is like, oh
Yeah.
and so
Bolin starts crying, and it hurt my feelings a lot because Bolin is my favorite character in the show.
Bolin's the best. And so then they basically, I love that Bolin is basically drunk.
He's super
Mako
drunk.
gets him, but he's just like eating noodles to drunkenness. He's like drowning his sorrows in noodles. They're like, we got a fucking tournament.
The best part of that soup thing is the fire ferret. I forget its name. It is so fat from soup it can't walk out the door, so it like swims. Yeah, Pavu swims out the door on his giant belly.
Yeah, he just like goes that. So they get to the final, and they're fighting, or no, they beat the semifinal that they were worried about, and fucking Cora does like a what do they call a hat trick, where you knock the entire opposing team out with one move,
with one hat,
one round.
Here's something I bet you didn't know: the asshole guy that they fight, Tano.
Yeah,
he's voiced by
Rami
Rami
Malek.
Malek.
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, really?
He's got a very distinct voice. He's
Well, he does, but like I just never put it together because he's doing
Mr. Robot
a big voice there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's doing like a, hey, Cora, guess you're just going to fucking lose because you suck.
He's a good choice for that character.
Oh,
though.
he is good.
He's good at that kind
so
of
they're the
hot
wolf
topic
bats,
guy.
basically.
Yeah. They're Team Edward and Team Jacob.
Oh, no, so we haven't fought the wolf. They haven't fought the wolf bats yet. Right?
That's when the actual attack happens.
That's the next episode. So yeah, this is the episode in which they have some struggles in the semifinal, and she ends up winning it because they're like having a hard time getting together because they're basically in this insane love triangle, and then not getting along. So then let's move on to the next episode, and the winner is, which is the pro bending final, basically, and who is it? What's his QAnon, or what's his name?
Anonymous. He's got a like
name?
mustache. Amon.
Yes. Oh my god, it's so close to Anon. So Amon, he's like, we're going to have severe consequences if you don't cancel the pro betting finals. And they're like, okay, well, let's cancel it. And then Tarlok and Tenzin are just like, or no, Cora shows up and is like, no, you can't. And like, we already voted not to. And then they like argue, and they're like, we can't like give up, like this means he wins. It's like the terrorist game,
what changed it was fucking Lin Beifong came in and was like, look here, bitches, my metal benders will protect everybody.
Yeah, because their
Spoiler.
armor makes them impervious to. Well, their armor is impervious to the key blocking.
It's
but,
not impervious to the fucking electro taser
which
fingers.
they didn't know much about
Yeah.
until this happens. And so that's kind of what happens here. So anyway, they have the final. They're like, okay, fine, we'll do it, and they have the whole the whole police force in the arena, and everything's going fine. And then they have the final match, and fucking. Oh yeah, Pabu has a cool entrance. Like when they show up, he does like
he does a dance.
He does a little dance, and so then they have their match, and basically they're being. I love all like the terms in this, like a hosing foul, like the water, but use too much water in the water bending, and so the refs are basically not calling any fouls on. Like the fix is in.
Yeah,
and
the Wolfpats are the Patriots.
Exactly.
Yeah, they fucking Bill Belichick.
Yeah, and so then they actually end up winning a round because she knocks out Rami Malek in a tiebreaker, a one-on-one because she's badass. But then like the Wolfpats win, they celebrate, and then immediately the Equalists like all kind of put these. It's a really cool shot actually. They're like going around the arena. You just have all these people like putting masks on.
A very like Batman's Joker-esque scene where it's just like slow-mo, like everyone's pulling their masks up and pulling weapons out of their popcorn, and it's like, oh shit, they're all here. They are around us.
And so they have these new weapons, which are like a glove that has like electric, that can like shoot electricity. It's like a taser, basically, glove.
Taser fingers.
But it can knock out people, and so like, they can just, benders could bend water, but if they can get in within, punching range, they can just knock them out. So it's kind of like an equalizer, if they want to call it something like that.
And they're also magic tasers that like somehow shock the whole water when you put them in, which is fine. That's cartoon physics. Yeah.
So the what is it? Korra and Mako and Bolin are both like in the water still because they got knocked out, and they're like, ugh. And then they get attacked by a guy who like wraps them up in some rope while Amon's up there giving his like fucking speech basically.
Yeah.
And Pabu chews through the cord, which is nice. I love Pabu. And I think he steals the bending gets rid of the bending of all the Wolfpats.
Because it's basically like, oh, you're the champions, so you're the example that
they cheated their way to victory. Just how benders
was that it?
Cheat every day over non-benders, because they have these extra powers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
I know this is jumping ahead a bit, and we'll probably talk about it more later, but they literally never explain how Amon can take bending.
It's because he's actually Aang. He's the Avatar.
Do they really never explain that?
They give a one-word explanation, and it makes no fucking sense.
Okay. Anyway.
They kind of do, and then there's weird side stuff with it, but yeah.
I was about to say, the fandom, and they probably could clarify actually why. Maybe we'll get into that. But there's actually a really awesome fight scene then, because like Korra goes up, and they like, all the benders... or what Lin Beifong is like fucking badass flipping around like Spider-Man in the arena, like flinging Korra up there, and they have like a really cool battle on the like glass rooftop. God, and that's like the thing that I forget, like watching the difference between Avatar and Korra is, man, the animation in Korra is so good.
The battle animation is fucking good.
Oh, it's just so good. And so they have this big fight on top, and what's his name gets away. Amon gets away, and they're like, fuck. Amon. He got through our thing, and they have this new technology, which sucks. And then the next episode's called The Aftermath. What happens now?
They do some math, and then after that, there's more math.
So this starts where they go to Asami's mansion, because they're invited up there, Bolin and Mako, and we're invited up there, and fucking Korra and Asami have a little ride in the Sato mobile. And it turns out like Asami is basically Batman.
Yes, she
is what you find out, because she's rich.
She's like
but
Batman
she's
meets
badass.
Catwoman.
Yeah,
like,
she's rich. She's badass. Her fucking parents, well, one of them was killed. you find out, I think not this episode, but the previous episode, was killed by a firebender.
No, well, I don't know. You find out.
The next
you find out in the aftermath.
Okay, anyway, you find out about that. So you're like, she's like fucking Batman. I think in the next episode, they even like go out on her fucking like Batmobile. And I was like, this is like, she's literally Batman.
Yeah.
Like, she got all the money to like have all this cool technology.
And like
so
a
anyway,
ton of combat training.
Yeah.
Just cause.
Oh yeah, and so then while they're hanging out in Asami's house, Korra overhears Hiroshi talking on the phone, and he's like, "Oh my god, I forgot about this. The Not My Cabbage Corp." So
Not my Cabbage Corp.
So the Sato Corporation that makes like the Satomobile has a rival in the Cabbage Corp, which makes like other things as well. I guess
they're Apple.
They're competitive, and so yeah, like exactly like Apple. And he gets them framed as the people that created the weapons, basically, and so like the Cabbage Corp guy is being like taken away, and he says, "Not my Cabbage Corp," which is such a great callback.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so yeah, later, what's his name? Sato is like, "Hey, they bought it. Like they think Cabbage Corp did it, and now we're free to move on with our plan."
Yeah.
And she's like, "What the fuck? Is this allowed?"
So then
she says
they literally have a Batman meeting. Like Korra meets up with Lin Beifong and Tenzin, like I guess on a roof because there's spotlights and shit behind them. It's Batman. The show becomes Batman.
Yeah. And so she's like, "Oh, it's called Future Industries, not Sato Industries. Future Industries." And they're like, "Hey, this guy is fucking." Yeah, you do learn that because like he does have a motive because his wife was murdered by a member of the Agni Kai Triad, which I love the name there, during a break-in and robbery at their mansion. And so they search the place, the business. They don't find any Equalist material, but then a warehouse worker is like, it's like Deep Throat. He's like, "I can tell you the truth."
He slips a note into like Korra's hand or something.
Mm-hmm. And so then they meet, like, it's like he's like fucking on a, yeah, it's pretty cool. He's got like a fucking trench coat. He's like, "If you want the real deal, you gotta look underneath his house. He's got an underground facility."
Oh yeah. Oh shit, I just remembered something about that, but yeah, it comes later.
Yeah, and then you actually there's some actual new like other things happening with Tarlock, who is one of the he's not like the mayor of the city.
Council members.
Ooh, I'm getting some. Hey, Echo. Ooh, Echo. Oh, it stopped. It was TJ. Probably,
Echo
right?
the dolphin.
Yeah. I wonder if his
so
headphones are broken.
Echo the dolphin. You guys remember that song?
Yes.
No. Sing it.
No. So Tarlock is like has been like secretly like, or not secretly, but publicly like saying the police are not doing a good enough job and stuff. And it's kind of like, what the fuck are you doing, man? That's a thing because that's going to come up in the next episode. But Lynn fucking pops up her leg, and then like the fucking bottom of her shoe like flips open, and she slams her foot down. It's like, "Oh yeah, that's that fucking."
Because they're just like, there's no secret weapons here or anything. And she does that, and it's like, "Oh yeah, I can see the whole tunnel. I can see the whole underground lab."
And then she just uses her metal bending to just like fucking rip the goddamn floor off. And it's like, here it is. And then they take like a fucking video game like level elevator thing down into the arena, the big like flat elevator the elevator level.
Yeah, like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. So they take that down.
And it's going super slow, and on the way they have to fight wave after wave of enemies.
Yeah,
exactly. Like Metal Gear Solid, yeah.
Was it a Turtles game?
Yeah, like a Turtles game. So he's like, "Bolin, Mako, Asami, you gotta stay up here." And so they all go down, and they look in there, and they're like, "There's some fucking tanks." He's made like Mobile Suit Gundams, basically.
This is so when I binged this show, like immediately, whenever we did like the first episode of Aang. I remember texting John in the book club channel being like, "Oh, this show has robots. I'm so fucking on board."
Yeah. I was about to say the show is very steampunky.
Yeah.
So, And so basically they show up and like, wow, look at all this shit. And then they all like fucking come alive because it was like a trap, basically. They were expecting them to come because the guy who gave them a note was one of the equalists and wanted them to come down there so they could be captured. And so
all the robots are made of pure platinum, which they can't, the metal benders can't do anything.
Yeah, and so
with.
that's like a bit of a weird caveat, I feel, because like I feel like you could, like, you can't make like a pure metal suit like 100% pure.
Look,
you know what I mean?
It was either that or unobtainium. So
they could have just said like,
no,
this is like a steel or metal alloy that is that does not contain any earth, you know, so you can't bend it. Well, but instead they said platinum, which is very bad. Platinum is not a good metal to use. Which is, I'm sorry, I'm gonna.
Was it platinum or was it titanium?
No, you said platinum.
Okay.
Platinum's not good.
So
it's very heavy. That door would have been 8 million pounds because it's even more dense than gold.
So that's the thing, right? Is that metal benders can't bend any kind of metal.
No.
But they can bend metal with impurities. They can bend.
They're essentially
and like
bending
even
the
among
remnants.
metal benders, there was at least there is in core. They're kind of in a little bit with Toph in Last Airbender, a little bit of like an understanding that there's types of metals that you can bend and types of metals that, like, for example, whenever Toph made like the Nickelodeon logo, that was an extremely easy metal to bend. For a metal bender, whereas like other metals are apparently more difficult, and I think that's part of it. Later in the series, we learn that there's, just like with air or water bending has its like weird specializations like swamp bending and stuff. There's types of earth bending that not everyone can do. Metal bending is one of those, and I feel like that is kind of the same thing going on, is that like there's probably a metal bender who could metal bend platinum if like they trained and spent all their time learning how to do it, but because it's so dense and because it's like a pure metal, it's not something they could do.
I'm just sciencing out the fact that enormous door is made of platinum is just insane to me, because platinum is even more expensive than gold. And it is
maybe not in this
more
world.
Heavy than gold. Like, it would just be like, here's a door made of pure gold. You'd be like, that would be $8 zillion.
Gold is a very soft metal, though, so it wouldn't be good for that.
Platinum is also soft, not as soft as gold. So it's like, this is like not. I mean, platinum is used. Like, we use platinum in like catalytic converters and like as like chemical catalysts and thing, and it's not used as a structural metal. You know, it's just, sorry.
I'm so bored with this.
It's a bad choice. Bad choice. But the point is that it's a pure metal. They didn't need to say platinum, but it's something that benders can't do. So they're trapped.
I mean, they also could have said iron, because iron is a fucking...
well, they could have said like steel or stainless steel or something.
Or just pure alloy and leave it at that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's, but anyway, so they're made of a metal.
It's vibranium.
Vibranium, yes. And so
you can actually cut through vibranium with adamantium, though. So
like Sato, who was like pretty normal before, becomes kind of evil here, and he's like, you like street rat firebender. Like, it's like, whoa. He like is kind of crazy. And then
you're telling me that the Henry Ford figure is evil? I don't believe it.
And so he looks up and sees his daughter who's dating him, and he like is kind of talking about how, like, he's pissed off his daughter's dating this firebender trash. And then he's like, I'm sorry.
He's basically the Stormfront now at this point, because they've got lightning weapons.
But they literally have like a Star Wars moment where he's like, you're my daughter, join me. And he gives her like the like glove, like the electro glove, and she takes it, and she like, I forget what she says. She says like, I'm sorry. And then she just stuns
says,
him.
I love you.
Yeah, she says, I love you. And then she stuns him. Is like, but that's why I had to do this.
Yeah.
Like,
and then he's like, ow, I have a pacemaker. And then he dies. Cardiac arrest.
Don't tase me, bro.
You murdered your father. The end.
Yep. So anyway, they escape because of that. And the Equalists try and catch them, but there's a fight and they get out. And then Lynn's like, I got to resign from the cops.
Yeah, she's going rogue.
Because I let this entire like Equalist organization go underneath my watch. So, and then we got the final one we watched for this week, which is episode 8.
Yep.
Extremes Meet. I actually really love this show because it like deals with like social issues. Like I think that the thing I said to my wife about what this show is that you have Avatar, which is like, here's the war, and Korra is, okay, what do we do now that we have a society? You know,
we
like,
live in a society.
Yeah, basically, because it's like, okay, here's the war, but here's what it's like to like lead a country. It's like fighting is like, yeah, those are the bad guys, we're the good guys, let's fight. This is like, okay, well, the bad guys are also part of our citizenry now.
Yeah, this is an insurgency.
Yeah, exactly. And so Asami, Mako, and Bolin are like, all right, well, you can live on Air Temple Island because they lived in the arena and it got blown up, and then her house has obviously been like taken as a crime scene right now. So they get to stay on Air Temple Island, and Iki is like, hey, you know, Korra likes Mako. It's just like, what the fuck? Why would you say that out loud? I love that.
Yeah.
But
I love all of Tenzin's kids a lot.
I love Tenzin as a character. He's such a badass. Like,
oh my gosh, this was also the episode we didn't talk about. This is also the episode because, like, in the previous episode, Tenzin's wife told the kids and Korra that like she's the second love in Tenzin's life, and then the winner is Korra figures out that it's Lynn because they got into a fight. Lynn and Tenzin got into a fight. She's like, oh, that Lynn's the one who used to be involved. And then Tenzin's like, who even told you this? And she's like, your wife told me this.
Oh shit!
And he's like,
his wife is awesome.
A very long time ago, when we started growing up. Why am I telling you this anyway?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So there's a new captain who's taking over for Lin Beifong, and it's like basically you realize that he's basically a puppet for Tarlok, Councilman Tarlok, who's like taking all the power, and you kind of see his machinations now that have happened where he's
full on Palpatining.
Yeah, basically.
He's not. So the cop guy is not quite like a right hand man. He's very much being played. Like he doesn't really know he's being played as much as he's being played.
Fair enough, but I mean, he's like, okay, well, all the Equalist shit needs to come through me rather than like handled by the police because the police can't be trusted. And so he's basically taking over that fight. And he's like, join the task force, and she's like, fucking no. Like, this is stupid. Like, you suck. And then he like rips on her like pretty hard, and then she cries about it. Like literally.
What a baby.
Well, he's like, you can't even airbend, and you've been training for how long? And it's true. You know, she's just having a hard time. But he's like, you do understand that like this takes time. Like Aang was the last thing he learned how to, or fire was the last thing he learned how to bend. It took forever. Like, you know, he fought most of the war without knowing.
It was actually earth bending that he fucking sucked at, though.
Either way,
because it's the opposite.
Took him a while. But and then you have a really nice moment where like Mako and Bolin and Asami all show up and are like, hey, you fucking rock, Korra. Like, we're cool friends and we all like each other and this is badass. And then they're like, all right, let's ride off on Naga to go patrol the city. And Naga's like, fuck no.
Aang has his friends. We're your friends. New team Avatar.
Yeah, basically, new team Avatar. And so Asami's like, you know what? I got a Sato mobile, and they fucking like ride out on the Sato. I know. She's got like a fucking like Catwoman like goggles and shit, you know, and she's just like, she's so badass, man.
The next episode, when extremes meet. Are we talking about that one this time?
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
no, we're not. This is 8. We watched 5, 6, 7, 8. 4 episodes.
8 is when
when extremes meet.
Oh yeah,
Eight's
that's what we're talking about right
Yeah.
now. No.
This is the one where
This is the Black Lives Matter protest.
yeah,
Yes.
this is the police brutality to protesters thing.
Correct.
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
yeah,
extremely relevant right now.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's just
so
like, hey,
basically-
people are protesting us, like, cracking down on them. What should we do? Let's crack down on them.
Yeah. So basically, Tarlok's like, you know what? Let's stop the equalists by making it so anyone who can't bend has a curfew.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's fucked up. You know, they'd be like saying all black people have a curfew.
Yeah, that's like
it's
that.
like-
That surely won't drive like undecided people into the arms of the equalists.
And so, like, yeah, they cut power to like a popular like non-bender borough, basically, and they're all like, "What the fuck's going on here?" And then they like, get into a big fight, and Avatar is like basically gonna like threatens to beat up Tarlok, but then he arrests.
Well,
all
there's
their-
a good moment there where like she sees this happening, and I guess Muggles are like, I don't know if that's a racist thing to call non-benders, but they're like, hey,
Yeah.
hey, you're our Avatar too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and she's like, all right, I'm going to save him. And then the cops are just like, you know what? Let's arrest Asami because she's a non-bender who's out past curfew. And then, like, I think Mako and Bolin are like, no. And they're like, arrest them too for, like, you know, trying to interfere with the police. And they don't arrest Korra, basically.
Even though Korra literally lifts up a big ass fucking boulder and it's like, I will kill you with the boulder.
The
With the boulder.
Korra is very different than Aang. Like, Aang is much more passive, and she's much more like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
I think that's why I like her more.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the quote I've been seeing on the internet? You'll all these people complaining about what would happen if Avatar Korra and Avatar Aang would get in a fight. Aang would be like, well, I would never fight one of my future selves, while Korra wouldn't hesitate to sucker punch a 12-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. So she runs to fucking City Hall and confronts Tarlok directly. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're making Amon's claims true that, like, the benders oppress people that can't bend. And he's like, you're doing the same thing by trying to oppress me. He goes like, well, actually. And he's like, well, actually, I'm the intimidated one.
And actually, right before this gets super, super heated, his assistant's still there. Is like, are the other councilmen still here?
Yeah.
No, they've gone home for the day. Then you should go home too.
Yeah, because he knows shit's about to go down.
Yep.
Then she just says he's just as bad as Amon. And then they have a cool like waterbending fight where he's shooting like icicles at her. But then she's got like earthbending. It's just really badass fight. And then she's like firebending because there's no water out there, you know, because he knocks him out of the room. And what does he do?
Blood
Bend.
Without a full moon. Not even Katara could do that.
Yeah.
Not even Katra can do that.
Katra, yeah. I like how this Wikia article mentions the visions that Korra's been having of like all of this stuff, and it's like you're supposed to know any of these names of these characters or what they're doing in these, because the flashbacks are like instants.
Yeah.
And it's
Right,
like,
yeah.
it's just like,
It's like, oh yeah, this one features a flashback featuring Yaaskween, and it's like no one knows that name who's just reading this if they've only
Exactly.
seen up to this point.
Well,
Like
not
that name
know-
means literally nothing at this point.
exactly, because it's something that I think gets explained later, and
I think it's next episode.
So, but anyway, yeah, it's something that was happening back with Aang and Toph and Sokka back in the early days of Republic City. But then he fucking bloodbends her, ties her up, and throws her in the back of the truck, and is like, "Guess what? I'm taking you away to where you'll never be found." Basically,
Yeah. And the weird thing is, like, as he's driving away in the truck, he turns on this really loud banjo music, and it's really unsettling.
yeah, it's like it really comes into place. But you know,
Please, I'm going to take you to the swamp benders, and we're going to make you squeal like a pig.
yes, oh yeah, 40-year-old Aang.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
my
the next
favorite
episode,
Steve Carell movie.
I was waiting for it.
Oh my god, 40-year-old Aang. oh my god, the love triangle this season.
I gotta admit, like, so one thing about
I like it when that ends.
One thing about Cobra Kai that I've been like I hate about is that it's extremely heterosexual in the way that like so many shows and movies and like songs are about like heterosexual people just like not talking to one another, and like that's the entire premise of like 8 episodes of a show, is that like they just refuse to fucking say like anything to one another. And this show is a lot of that. Like the first season specifically is a lot of like,
oh yeah, a lot of like, hey, maybe just like communicate.
Yeah, like what's weird is that Bolin and like I thought it would be different because like Bolin and Mako are talking at the beginning of like episode 6 or whatever. Like, hey, what do you think about Korra as girlfriend material? And then Mako's like, I don't know, I'm more into Asami. Then Bolin's like, no, for me, jackass. And I'm like, okay, so this is interesting because they're actually talking about this. But then they went ahead and did the love triangle thing anyway, where it's like, I'm gonna not tell Bolin that I'm just a friend of them and I'm just using him to hang out because I'm mad. Like, I'm gonna not tell Mako that I like him, and I'm not gonna tell Asami that we can't. Like, it's just fucking talk to one another, and like this plot line would go away.
Yeah,
pretty bad about that.
They are like 17 though. So that's...
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's still a very heterosexual people thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I know how Amon can take bending away from people.
Yes, but it doesn't make sense. Like,
It does make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Explain it to me.
All right, I'm going to explain
as long as
because
it's not a like major spoiler, which it doesn't really seem like.
It kind of is a major spoiler.
Then
so.
never mind. I'll get to it.
And also, this week
we'll
is
talk
the
about
last 4 episodes.
I was about to say, we'll talk about it next week.
But they don't... The only thing I could say
I will say it's weird how he does it in the same way that looked like Aang was doing it, when it isn't the same thing that Aang was doing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So it's not the same thing that Aang was doing. And what weirds me out, and this is kind of spoiler, but doesn't explain anything about it, is that Katara can't heal it.
Yeah,
and she's like major healer. It's like she should be able to heal that.
Because it isn't something.
Because it's not like
not spirit damage.
No, because it's not lion turtle magic fucking like it's
it
not
isn't
like,
what Aang's doing. It's something you think that she'd be able to heal,
Yeah.
but apparently she can't.
It's physical damage, basically.
Maybe she needs them to
pokes
wear
her in the right spot of the head, and like there's this one spot of the head. It's where your soft spot was when you was born, and if you poke it real hard, just like that, then you can't bend anymore.
Maybe
and no one ever tried doing that before, but that's how it works.
Maybe you got to fix it. You got to get like some magnetic bracelets and like.
One criticism I'm going to have of Korra is just a general criticism of a lot of fantasy things that we actually really appreciate when some things, I forget what show doesn't do this, but is that the fact that everyone that is like the main characters are all just from the same family, basically. It's all like descendants of that. So you have like Lin Beifong's kid. Yeah. Although, to be fair, the show does have the 2 main male characters, and Asami Sato had nothing to do with any of the like original Avatar story.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of that. Like when you have, it's just like, that's it. Like Star Wars. Like when the Last Jedi tried to make, actually she's not related. Rey isn't related to any of the main characters. So it's like a new thing, but it's like, no. We got to be hacky with this and just make it so there's a revelation that everyone's related and that all of the powerful people that are doing stuff in the world are all from the same like 3 or 4 families, and it just it feels so unrealistic.
If any of you haven't seen episode 9, they decided, or when I say that, I mean Disney and J.J. Abrams, because they can't write a fucking story, decided that Rey is a Palpatine.
Yeah, I heard
that was fucking dumb.
It's very stupid.
That was so dumb. I forgot they did that.
Yeah.
I still have not seen episode 9, and I don't think I plan to.
Yeah,
I might really eventually, but
it's really
it has a couple. It has a really good droid in it. Dio is a really good droid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, like I'm sure I'll watch it at some point because I like sci-fi, and there's
just like, watch it when you run out of other shit on Disney.
Oh, speaking of sci-fi, even though none of you have probably seen it, so I can't talk about it for very much, and also this episode's like 3 hours long. I watched Star Trek Picard. Season 1. And
Star Trek Pickard. Okay.
I heard it was good.
Pickard. Yeah, I liked
Yeah.
it.
Cool.
All right, we gotta end.
Good job.
We got a climax.
I really do want to go to Cookout though,
We got to
but
finish.
they're literally only in North Carolina and Virginia.
We got to sling ropes.
Yeah, like Spider-Man.
I gotta go sling mad ropes like Spider-Man. Superman them hoes.
John's got to go cough up more blood
I do have to go
tastefully into
Yep.
a
I
monogram
did,
handkerchief.
I did cough up earlier, like a couple hours ago, a little twinge of blood. So, but it wasn't like a full mouthful of blood like it was this morning.
The website is borninthE80s.net. You can find episodes there. Also go to discord.borninthE80s.net. That's where you can come hang out with us. John up there is John_Danger of the Hell website, twitter.com. I'm saving his voice right now. Matt?
You can find me at live.matthagmusic.com. That's go straight to my Twitch page, and don't ask me why I have a redirect. It's totally fine. Everything's good.
TV/MattHagMusic2.
But that's eventually that'll get changed back, and this won't make sense as a whatever.
Hemsworthfeet.world also does currently still go to
There's-
Matt's correct Twitch feed.
So MattHagMusic2. Yeah.
Yeah. Twitch.tv/MayofMay, or find me at Twitter at MayofMay84. I now have a TikTok. I'm not using it, but that's also at MayofMay84 because
Which talk?
someone stole it. Someone stole May of May from me
They
again.
told TJ he couldn't have TikTok, so now he needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I downloaded it.
Yeah.
You guys can all subscribe to my RSS feed on my live journal, which is
Live journal. I saw it.
Shadow the Hedgehog xxx69.livejournal.com.
I wish
I
I could
saw-
find my old
Subscribe to
Zanga blog.
Spanky's OnlyFans
Yeah, I
where
had a
he
Zynga too.
subscribe to Spanky's OnlyFans where he quietly plays Kingdom Hearts by himself and nothing happens.
I will fucking make no money, but I kind of want to do that.
I was actually wondering that if there's like rules, like if you're not doing porn, are you still allowed to have an OnlyFans? Because I think it would just be funny to stream there.
Well, they do have live, so bye-bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone.
Guys, I don't remember my Zanga login.
Oh,
I searched for Borg and I got Trump 2020, so
Same thing,
you
really.
will be assimilated.
Well,
I also got a Black Lives Matter one. I don't know why.
Somehow that feels disrespectful, but I can't put my finger on how.
Yeah.
Like,
this lady does really suck. Amy Coney Barrett.
yeah.
Yeah, because she's a Catholic. They all fucking suck.
She got 7 kids.
That's what the Catholics do because they can't use condoms.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
just
I mean, you could read more about that, but also you can't do anything
Testing?
about it. So, hi TJ.
Well, I think like people take like that shit a bit like far, like with the Supreme Court and the decisions that they make, because again, it's a third equal branch of the government. So, you know, if the Democrats hold the executive branch and the legislative branch, they don't really do much, because as an originalist, like she would say, it is the job of the legislative branch to create the laws. It's just theirs to determine whether or not they are illegal. Basically.
Also, if you have, and I don't really know
Not
how
to
this works
mention-
because I'm dumb, but if you have smart enough legislators, you can write bills in a way that diminishes the chance that they'll wind up in front of a Supreme Court judge.
So what you're saying is that we're fucked.
Yeah,
I just
Yeah,
love
that's
I
what
just love that we had a Democratic president for 8 years and he got 2 appointments, and we have a Republican president for 4 years and they get 3.
that's Reagan,
Honestly-
baby. Trump is
Why-
Reagan.
Fucking
Reagan is Trump.
Clarence die, bitch.
No, wait a little while. wait until after January 20th if Biden wins, and if not, live for 4 more years.
Yeah.
No,
Can we have like a bug chaser party for COVID, but only invite Supreme Court justices?
What was the? Well, at least Obama's 2 people were really good. You know.
Yeah.
Elena
Merrick
Kane,
Garland
Tony
and
Sotomayor.
who else?
Yeah. Well, he got young people in there.
No, he didn't. Elena Kagan's like 60 something.
She is exactly 60, but she's been on there for like what 10 years now. So she was 50. I don't know. He got some young people in there.
So I thought Sonia Sotomayor is just like looks younger than she is too. Isn't she also in her 60s?
She is 66.
Yeah.
Whoa, really? I thought she was like in her 40s
she looks
or
really,
something.
really good for 66.
Yeah, she's been on for 11 years, so she was 55. So he's nominated some people that are going to last.
And Sotomayor was in
20
09,
years.
nominated in 09 too, so that was 11 years ago. So she was 50 in early 50 or mid 50s when she was nominated.
55. Yeah.
It almost seems like the Supreme Court probably shouldn't be a lifetime appointment.
Oh, yeah,
You
100%.
think so?
I agree. I mean, what the whole point of the lifetime appointment was to bypass the legislative and executive branch from gaming the system.
Good
But
job.
that's happening anyway.
We did it. We did it, Reddit.
Because for some reason, even though there are more Democrats in the U.S. than there are Republicans, they still hold power because of the Senate is equal among every state.
Yep.
Which I agree with in some ways, but I
Yeah.
also disagree that they should be allowed.
It's
power
an
they have.
outsized. Like, you definitely need to do something like that, because if it's just straight,
Yeah, because then
then it's just like, our Congress just does New York and California, and everyone in the middle can get fucked. But
Yeah, no, I agree. Because
I mean, honestly, that would be better than like Wyoming, which has like 100,000 people in the whole fucking state having the same amount of power as California in the
yeah.
Senate.
But like in theory, what the Senate is supposed to do is be like, okay, Wyoming, you're here to make sure that we don't like completely forget about the fact that cattle laws are a thing. So like,
well, no, but I mean, it's there so that like the House of Representatives can't say we're going to turn Wyoming into a giant landfill for everyone.
Yeah.
And every other state's like, yeah, sure, fuck them.
Honestly, I feel like the Senate and the House have the wrong.
They should flip.
Yeah, they like their duties should flip, because like Wyoming being able to have as much say as New York and California on who goes on the Supreme Court is pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
That is true.
But at the same time, like the Congress or House of Representatives typically writes tax bills and spends money more than the Senate does. I mean, it has to have joint approval, but like most of it originates in the House. And I'm like, you could probably do that one in the Senate. Like, that one seems a bit more important to have like a lot of representatives not control the narrative on that one.
It's just like insane.
Spending money should be like, hey, states, we're spending money. All of you have an equal say in whether or not that's a good idea. And then like, hey, this person's going to spend the rest of your life on the Supreme Court. Should we give that maybe to the ones where more people will be affected? I don't know.
I mean, at least he nominated Kavanaugh, who's 55, and he's probably going to die in like 20 years. So
he likes beer.
He's just gonna be found dead at a pool. Like that. I've seen the future, and that's the end of Kavanaugh is just like surrounded by hookers and blow.
Scalia,
yeah,
no, he didn't have.
He's gonna Scalia.
Scalia just went to his farmhouse to like take a shit with his door wide open, and he died.
I mean, at least his first appointment, Gorsuch, is definitely as far left as you can get for a Republican.
Yeah.
He's more.
Well, the problem with them is the Federalist Society bullshit, which is extreme. Like, the whole purpose Federalist Society exists is to allow corporations to have a greater say in making legislation. Like, that's literally the reason that it exists.
Yeah. But at least I'm not worried that Gorsuch is going to be, like, weighing in too much on social issues. Like,
Yeah.
He's probably fine with gay people getting married, so I don't need to worry about that going on. Like, I don't know. It seems low on his priorities, which is the kind of Republican that I can tolerate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go pee.
I was about to say, all of the, like, basic, most of the majority of the stuff known about the stuff that he did on the 10th court is, like, corporate laws. You know
So
what I mean?
here's the thing about, like,
Not as
gay
bad.
marriage. The thing about gay marriage is it all depends on their position on stare decisis, because it was a 5-4 decision.
Yeah.
The majority was Kennedy, who is retired,
Yeah.
Ginsburg, who just died, Breyer, who I think is like 90, so he's gonna fucking die soon. Like, people don't talk about that, but I'm pretty sure Breyer is extremely fucking old.
He's definitely gonna retire if a Democrat wins.
Yeah, because he is extreme. Like, I don't think he's older than Ginsburg, but
Oh,
he's 82.
He's 82. He just looks old. Ginsburg was like, what, 89?
82?
Yeah.
I think Ginsburg was 87.
Yeah.
Still, 80 something. He needs to fucking go. Like, you know, what's gonna happen is Trump's gonna win, and like election night, Breyer's gonna fucking have a heart attack and die. No, the fucking, it was a 5-4 decision, and you had Kagan, Sotomayor, Kennedy, Breyer, and Ginsburg.
Mhm.
Kennedy and Ginsburg are gone, and now we have Kavanaugh, Barrett, and Gorsuch replace Scalia. Gorsuch on that issue would be the exact same as Scalia. Basically, like, no, because it's not my job to make that legal. It's the legislator's job to make that legal.
No. I'm looking at his previous rulings, and in 2017, when he was the Supreme Court summarily overruled the Arkansas Supreme Court's decision to deny same-sex parents the same right to appear in the birth certificate. Gorsuch wrote a dissent. Oh no, he wrote a dissent.
Yes, exactly.
No, but there's another one here. In 2020, Gorsuch wrote the majority opinion on the combined cases of all these different companies, ruling that businesses cannot discriminate employment against LGBTQ people. 6-3. So I think that he split from Alito, Thomas, and Kavanaugh. So I think he probably, for gay marriage, he's going to say this is ridiculous to overturn this.
I don't think so. But like,
Who's
Kavanaugh,
overturning gay marriage now?
But again, the whole point of this is all they need to do is make an amendment to the Constitution saying it's okay. Then the Supreme Court can't do anything.
you
That's
can't amend
the
the Constitution anymore. It will never happen again in our lifetimes.
I know. I'm just saying.
The math behind it.
Is there a way to make amending the Constitution only require a simple majority? Because I can see that
No.
happening.
No, because the way to amend the Constitution is written in the Constitution. There's 2 ways to do it. There is the way to do it with like the 3/4 of all of Congress and presidential approval. And if the president doesn't approve, you get Supreme Court justice approval. And that's never going to happen. We're not going to have 75 Democrats in Congress. That's not going to happen. And the other way to do it is if all of the states ratify a signatory to come together and create like a constitutional convention, and then I think it takes all the states, or like 75% of the states or something. But it's like a fuck ton of states to do it, and you're never going to get that as long as like the South exists. So it'll never happen in our lifetimes.
So we need to nuke the South.
Yeah.
Agreed. Nuke specifically my house.
Also, just some other interesting things. I think this came up in July, but the Manhattan district attorney wanted to access President Trump's tax records and it went to the Supreme Court, and Gorsuch and Kavanaugh joined the Democrats in saying that it was okay.
Yeah.
Only the fucking Thomas dissented. Those are the
Thomas
two
is a bitch.
fucks.
Clarence Thomas.
Those are the awful people. I mean, these two people are bad, but
That
those
is-
two are just
that is,
always gonna be
like,
super right.
The nice thing
Because
about the
new
lifetime
justices
appointment thing.
I think she's going to be that way too, because she is like super Catholic, like super religious right.
Oh, so she'll take
person,
she'll
whereas
take orders from the
I don't
Pope.
think Gorsuch is particularly religious. He's Protestant. He's a WASP. You know, like
Yeah.
he went to Harvard. You know, whereas Amy Coney Barrett's like fucking went to fucking Notre Dame. You know, like she's a fucking she sucks. I was hoping that they were going to nominate someone other than her, and then they did Kavanaugh, who is also bad.
Yeah.
I think was it Hardiman was the other guy who actually isn't super bad. Hardiman.
There's this, one of my coworkers is a Republican, and I was texting him the other day, and he's like, "I'm so disgusted with politics, I might not even vote." I'm like, you could always vote for Biden if you're so disgusted with politics. Like, you have too much faith in the Democrats. I'm like, it's not that I have faith in the Democrats. It's that one party is actually in control right now, and they're doing all the shits that is disgusting you.
Yeah.
The other one is not. And he's like, I just can't do that.
I
I'm
would
like, just
I
gonna
would
let
say
you know,
if you
if Roe v.
want
Wade gets turned over, I am not your friend anymore. I'm going to be an asshole to you until I get fired.
if you want to maximize your energy, I'd say the better argument is, hey, maybe just stay home then. Like,
He
you're
said
never
that
going to
he- yeah,
convince anybody to
he
switch
said-
sides,
oh.
but you can encourage
thing is-
apathy.
Yeah, but I am in Missouri, though, so it literally does not matter. We are one of the reddest states in the country now.
What if they all go? Like, okay, how many people died from the hair salon? So,
No one died from the hair salon.
damn. Well,
Yeah, I was hoping that he would nominate Hardiman, Thomas Hardiman.
oh,
Yes,
he was
he's-
great as Bane.
He was also well, his
Oh,
LGBT
you mean Nicole Hardman, the running back for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Mecole Hardman.
You mean Phil
I
Hartman?
don't think he's a running back. I don't know
Phil
what he is.
Hardman? I just searched Phil Hardman, and I
That's
got
got to be
Facebook.
somebody's name in porn, right?
He's a wide receiver.
Hi, I'm
I
Phil
don't know why.
Hardman. You may remember me
Running
from
back.
such porn says.
Wait, what was I looking up?
Nicole Hardman,
Oh,
wide
Nicole-
receiver. for
Nicole
the Kansas City
Kidman.
Chiefs.
Uh-oh.
You guys aren't freezing for me anymore.
Yay!
Hooray.
What
We're
was
ready to
going
go.
on? Some
only
weird
took
shit?
me- Oh yeah, I had to restart the modem. I just did it from the app.
Oh, cool.
I like to just unplug it. and
Are
put it
you on
back
a
in.
computer or your phone right now?
I was on my phone before. I'm on the computer now.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why the phone video looked better than now.
Oh.
Because
Yeah,
this is like
I
a
mean,
720
your
camera.
your stream quality is really good right now, though. So, who cares if
Right
it's
now.
a bad resolution?
Right now.
Yeah.
We'll stick with right now.
How's my video
Like-
look? Good. Is it
Yeah.
good?
Perfect. It's lovely.
Cool.
Watch me screw this up. I'm going to go ahead and screw up my camera just because. Come on. How do I grab this? There we go. Switch that to
Yeah,
that.
Amy
this back
Coney
up.
Barrett is you know how like white women suck? That's
Yeah.
her. She's like a Karen, basically.
Yeah. Justice Karen. Oh man, we've got Justice Rapist and Justice Karen.
Yeah,
Okay, but
well,
yeah,
that's-
think about the meme potential. You know, it's gonna be
that's the people who are still in the Republican Party.
good.
You've
But
got
we
Karen.
don't they have the
uh,
nice pope now? Aren't Catholics better?
Yeah,
I've heard
but there's also a lot of, especially U.S. dioceses, they're like, well, actually, the Pope is.
Oh.
We're not.
And also, he's
Are we
still the
well
Pope.
actually
Like,
the
he's
Pope
still
now?
Terrible.
No, I agree, and I think it's ridiculous.
The last pope was a literal, I'm not fucking making this up, a literal Nazi. So,
Yeah.
like, that's why the new one has a reputation for being the good one. And the old one is still writing, like, dissenting opinions as former pope, because he's still alive.
And the new one is just like, hey, maybe climate change is real, and also maybe gay people are people. That's like the definition of a super liberal pope now.
Yeah, but then like the previous pope who's still alive was like, no, this is all fucked up, and then like all the American Catholics are like, oh, the old pope was correct and the new one's fucking wrong.
No, the new pope is Jude Law.
Oh man, I hate that show, but I love Jude Law so much that I had to watch it.
I heard it was good.
It's really like
he's a pope that smokes cigarettes, so you know he's a
Well, he's the
badass.
pope that fucks.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like-
the whole
only
point of it.
he has to get married first, though, right?
it's difficult to explain what kind of show it is because it's like it's kind of like oh man,
I've always thought
Sopranos. But
Is
it's
it
not
like-
like Sopranos. It's like I know there's something like this.
I
Basically,
was
everything
hoping you
is
were
like
gonna say
weird
Sopranos.
political bullshit in the Vatican, and it's also like weirdly violent and sexual, but some of it isn't real. It's kind of also like drug, like I wouldn't say like a stoner show, but like a cocaine user show.
I mean, the show is that this is just this pope fucks.
Basically, yeah.
That's what it's just like. Hey, it's a young pope, and this pope fucks.
Pope that fucks. I was talking to a friend today about how I'm excited for the third Sherlock Holmes movie starring Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law because I like the first two. I mean, they're not great movies, but I do like
No.
them, and I like both of the actors who play them.
Did
So
Guy
I don't
Ritchie
really
do
have
those?
any. Yeah, I think so.
I was gonna say, if
Um,
not, they're very Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, and like they're not great, but like a Guy Ritchie movie that doesn't have to be. You know what I mean? It's just kind
Yeah.
of like, especially if you've got like Jude Law and Robert Downey Jr. It's like you've got like the direction and two good actors that like whether or not the movie's good kind of doesn't matter at that point.
It's
So I'm excited they're finally doing a third one 10 years later.
Guy Ritchie is just like very like cool people doing cool charismatic things. That's all you need. And also there's probably guns
Right.
at some point. And a hilarious
Yes.
misunderstanding.
Yeah.
All right,
I
boys.
fucking love Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Can we
It
get
is the
started?
greatest.
Are we on Twitch?
Yeah.
We're on
Yep.
Twitch.
Okay, good. Let me get levels.
On Twitch, bish.
I'm gonna probably be a bit quieter tonight. I'm gonna
Good.
try and not strain my voice.
Twitch.
Let
Twitch.
TJ
fish.
talk for once.
Another one in the basket.
TJ doesn't talk. What are you
Yeah,
talking
He's
about?
just gonna talk about fucking
Spreadsheets.
no Kingdom Hearts for 4 hours, and I won't be able to stop him.
No, it's fine because I forced Spanky to buy one when he was drunk.
He's playing it right now.
Yes, he is.
I gotta.
It's also loud as fuck.
Is there a
Alright.
Kingdom Hearts collectible card game yet?
I'm sure there is,
one of the
but
games
I don't play it.
is a card game.
There is, I mean, the combat system in Chain of Memories, the second Kingdom Hearts game, is about collecting and using cards.
I'd
Travis
s-
Scott Burger. So
I can't believe there's not like a Hearthstone clone that's Kingdom Hearts.
We're getting Theaterism for Kingdom Hearts in November.
Well, it's a little different, but yeah, I'm gonna
It's
play it.
Theaterism, come on.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's
Travis Scott meals
it's
over.
using the PlayStation.
All right, here we go.
I love that the
right,
first
this is
game
John.
that came out.
This is Mixer. Remember Mixer?
I
Yeah,
do.
Vaguely.
I got my stream key the day
Maybe-
they
maybe
announced they
they're-
were shutting down.
Maybe they're going to make Mixer part of Xbox Game Pass now. That's the master plan.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
it's part of Facebook
Oh, by
Live.
the way,
though.
John Dibs.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let me just. I'll message you the code. Let's see if I still have it.
How did?
Yeah, and we could
yeah.
play some other games like Forza Horizon 4
I
or
don't
Gears
know how
5.
I don't know where you redeem that at. So let me
I don't
let
know.
me get.
Xbox app on Windows 10. Easiest place to do it.
Okay.
You just redeem
Lo-
that.
lo-
code.
Log in with the Xbox Live profile that you've already set up with.
Uh-huh.
You can either redeem it there or at Xbox.com.
Wait, have
Okay.
you ever had the Xbox Game Pass?
I think so.
Oh well,
I
then you
got
might
it
not.
when what is it? Outer Worlds or whatever was $1.
It probably won't work for you.
If he's
It's
been
for-
if,
It's
if
for
he's been
new customers only.
if
I
he's been
got
inactive for a while, it
new
might be fine.
emails. I can make new
That's-
emails.
I suppose that is true. Anyway, that's
Dude,
what
I
just
have a
wanted.
website. I can make my own emails.
Oh, ODST is on Halo Master Chief Collection now.
Yeah,
So
I saw that. Some of my favorites. All right, let's get started.
okay,
We ready?
yeah, I guess so.